gotta pay the insurance, gotta pay for a license. And these things occur every year. Even if you own a house, property tax, man. Ain't no escaping. Ain't no escaping this subject to payments, man. Hell, you paying for water now.
Yeah.
Soon you're gonna be paying for clean air. All right, yeah.
It says, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. According to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power.
Which departed from Yahweh and Yahweh, your power, man. I ain't say Allah. I didn't say Christian. I didn't say Jesus. I didn't say God. I said Yahweh and Yahweh. You departed from him. You so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, downhill fast. Faster than the avalanche, man. All because of what? You wanted to be like Esau. You wanted to be like the heat.
Yeah, verse 9. Hear Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom.
It says, hear Israel. So what? Give ear to what?
To understand wisdom.
Understand wisdom. This is what's going to keep you in the coming days of the brother formula. It's Isaiah 33:6, man. Read that back, the bottom part.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 9. Hear Israel, the commandments of life.
So here you so-called Negroes, Latino. I'm going to keep saying it, man. So you know, so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, Central Indians.
Give ear to understand wisdom.
Understand wisdom, man. The brother poured that in my This is the wisdom. This is how else are you going to escape the thermonuclear fire? Do we not have threats from throughout the globe of various nations that want to bomb America, that want to that want to duel and geofisticuffs by way of thermonuclear missiles? Yeah. Do we not have a plethora of nations? Russia, Iraq, China. Hell, Japan, even though, hey, man, they want to get you paid. You put that out on them too, man. They won't get that, man. Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. So that's the wisdom. Read that back. Make sure I read that back.
This is Baruch chapter 3, verse 9. Hear Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom.
Understand wisdom. So this is how you're going to save yourself. By giving ear into these words. Now, go to this,
Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time.
Wisdom and knowledge. What? Understanding, having knowledge of what went on in the past. You understanding the histories of your people. King David. You know, Esau want to claim, that's my people. No, that's your people, man. These accounts of these great men. Yeah. The knowledge and the wisdom. When you hear the stories of these great men and how they were going through certain perils, going through certain situations in their life, and how they reacted to them.
Yeah.
And how the Lord, because of the way they reacted to him, he delivered them. Why did they react that way? Because they had the knowledge, man. But when you apply that knowledge, it becomes what? Wisdom. And wisdom always leads to what? Salvation, man. So read that back, Bobby Bishop.
And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time.
So stability of these times. You already see COVID-19. This C-19 has rocked America's economy. And hey, it's going down. It's circling the drain faster and faster.
Free fall speed, man. Free fall speed.
Why are they tripping out over this GameStop situation? Man? Because Americans, they crying for money right now, man. They crying for money hard. But with all of that,
wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time.
All of these bad things happening, and you see it, we're on the cusp of the end. We're at the end, man. With Jake needing more and more stimulus checks just to get by. This is going to be our stability. We ain't trusting in the damn check Esau was sending us. If no brother ever received, we would still be here doing what? What? We ate, we slept, we are clothed. Hey, we're fed. Hey, the Lord, hey, we're here.
Hey, he did what he promised us he was gonna do.
Yeah, he did exactly what what you gonna do? You finna go trick, you finna go steal, you finna go kill, you finna go rob, man. Why? Because you have no hope. You trust in Esau. You're moving just like your father. These are the things that he taught you as a Negro you should do, and that he's willing to do. if push come to shove. But us on this side, hey, push came to shove. That's why I said the knowledge and the wisdom. Push came to shove with Daniel. Push came to shove with Job. Push came to shove with all of the great men, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. But what? They didn't fold because they kept the knowledge and they applied it, man, which showed wisdom. And the Lord, what? He saved. That's what time we're in, man. I ain't worried about it. I hope this economy collapse tomorrow, man. I'm still finna eat. Just like the Lord said, hey, my servants will eat. I finished that off.
The strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord, and how about you outside? It's his
Strength of salvation. Knowledge and wisdom shall be the strength of salvation. Because when those missiles, nigga, you can't even get to California if you wanted to. So what more when you see the missiles coming? Where you finna run to? You finna jump in the water? I'm finna get away from this. Hey, Leviathan and his homies gonna be sitting in the waters waiting for you.
Our people just really hope it don't happen.
Yeah.
They just hope we wrong.
Yeah, they don't want the Lord to come back, but they see it. Our people see it because our people are spiritual, right? Our people see this.
Hey, if I could say too, you have brought out earlier in Isaiah the 30th chapter where it says, where it talks about how woe to them that go down to trust in the spinach of Egypt. Y'all about to get these stimulus checks, but y'all not realizing that food inflation is eating that thing up. Food inflation is up 70% right now. So every time they cut a check, everything else gets more expensive.
And the thing with Joe Biden is passing so many laws, and Trump has so many laws written into these laws that Joe Biden is signing off on now. It's a lot of because of this corona stimulus thing that's being passed, it's a lot of pay cuts that's going into Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps. So the same individual, that same freak bro that's getting 1,000 food stamps a month, that's gonna get cut, man. 60%, 400. What can you do with that, man? Not really nothing. Too much of nothing. The way these bras eat.
That's that big clay.
Yeah.
Go back to that. Was that finish that off? Put it on there. No. That was it.
This is can we talk about the end? This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
25, real quick.
Yeah.
Because what? Jacob and Esau is hey, we're on the world stage now, man. That's why you think the big protest, the global protest that George Floyd had, that was showing what the parts of the world was showing you that they sympathize with Jacob. The other half of the world sympathize with Esau. It's only one or two sides you're gonna be on this side of this thing now. You either for Jake, and that's the only way you can take is if you're an Israelite.
That's right.
You're a righteous Israelite at that, man. Or you in the spirit of these heathens, man. It says Jacob held fast the heel of Esau. So that's us, dude, by way of us preaching this word, man. We're pulling down this kingdom, man. That's us. Read that back, Bobby.
2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Genesis chapter 25 and verse 25. When the first came out red, all over like a very garden.
What is this individual? What is this individual that had passed?
He's red. Look at the back of his neck.
Is what you can see his blood show forth through his skin because his skin is translucent. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right. So it will come off, and his viscera is red. It will come off red.
Yeah.
All right. See?
It says all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
It's called his name Esau Ashashu, which means wasted away at sea. Right? See?
And after that came his brother out, and his head to
After that came his brother out. Why ain't they mention the way his brother looked? Because his brother was normal. His brother looked just like you, looked like me. There was no reason to bring out his color. This was normal. He's normal. This individual, yo, I gotta put this in
Yeah, this had to be read in the Bible.
But that was that what? That was that mark of Cain. That same mark that Cain complained of the Lord in the time that he killed his brother. He was like, surely somebody gonna kill me if they see me. And the Lord was like, anybody that slide on you, I'm gonna slide on them 7 times, 7. Basically, I'm gonna kill them. I'm gonna come against them all. If they come against you because of this moment. Why? Because the Lord is leaving it. I need it. He needed Cain to plant his seed within the earth, man. So come forth the Edomites later on. That same spirit was being planted. Let's put it that way. That same spirit. When Cain came back on the earth, he came back as what? With that same mark. All right. Continue.
And his brother out. His dad took hold on Esau's hill, and his name was called Jacob.
Yeah, and his what?
And after that came his brother out, and his dad took hold on Esau's hill, and his name was called Jacob.
His name was called Jacob. So it said Jacob took hold of Esau's sin. So it's going to be the Israelites, who so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, and Seminole Indians that's going to take this place down. Right? All right. So that's what it's about. And how are we going to take it down? Are we going to take up swords? Are we going to take up guns? Are we going to do that? No, man. We're going to do it by what? By the way of preaching. We're going to do it by way of preaching, man. By prophesying the words of the Heavenly Father and breaking it down the correct and right way. Not doing this for filthy people's sake. Not saying this, speaking smooth words unto our people. We're going to do it the right way. Bring that back.
Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed.
Yeah, so Esau is the end of the world, and we see the end of the world before us, man. That's why Esau's fixated on all these apocalyptic movies.
Yep.
He's about death, man. Everything that Esau's spirit screams, the end. The end. Every time a trend starts, Esau picks up to it. What happens? It dies off, man. Because everything that this guy touches, it's the end of it.
I got
He is stuff, brother.
Habakkuk the second chapter.
Yeah,
I'm about to eat it, man.
And also, Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter goes into how he's of a different fashion. When you go to 1 Timothy 6 and 7, it says the fashion of this world fadeth away. So just like you're going into anything that he actually comes up, it pops for a second, it's creative. A lot of people get tricked into it, but it always has a inspiration. You know what happens.
The adverse effect
I got you.
always leads to what? Death, man. He created the microwave for you, but what does it do? Gamma rays end up killing you. Basically.
This is Habakkuk 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie."
Right now, man. It's everything that the Lord has been saying up until this point is being made manifest. Right? The things to come is being seen.
Con. It says, "But the end shall speak and not lie."
And it's not lying. It's
Yeah.
not lying. These prophecies are not lying. These prophecies are clear. He said he was going to see you in the slave. He said that he was going to break you.
Yep.
He said, "Yo, I'll break that yoke of iron off of your neck without broken you." Man. And when Esau, he gave you that Emancipation Proclamation, he had broke Jake's spirit. Man. Yes, master. And that was all up into Jake's bloodstream. He literally altered Jake's DNA with slavery.
Con. It says, "Though it will tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry."
It was not terror, so it's fast, it's steady, it's hasting, man. It's hasting in this country. And we see parts of these prophecies have already came to pass, and prophecies are playing out as we speak. So it's upon us. All right.
Con. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him."
That soul that which is lifted up is somewhat tricky. It got a hunchback like the hunchback of Notre Dame. That's Esau, man. This dude ain't right, man. Everything that he sets up causes you to go on, man. Everything that he does is ass backwards, man. He's turned everything upside down. Here it is, brother. I just watched the brother in the lesson on the way driving up. Esau, Sleepy Joe has just signed a bill saying that the United States is going to be at the forefront of the LGBTQ global rights community. The United States is going to be at the forefront. So what does that mean? This has to be Egypt. This has to be Babylon. This got to be the land of greatness, completely Sodom and Gomorrah, man. This got to be the place.
Hey, and honestly too, hey, what he just did was, hey, he just put it on paper. His own, hey, it's on paper. You condemn, bro.
Yeah, he keeping the receipts of his own sins, man.
You just like,
Like, who keeps it down? like that. You know how old you is? Like, if anything, you know what that
But these devils are proud anyway.
Yeah.
They don't look at it like I'm transgressing the law of God. But they go off of the Constitution, they go off of legislation, they deal with the rights of the people. That's how this place was built up anyways, under that democracy that
that's why
freedom to gather abroad.
That's why the soul that is rich is lifted up. It's not upright, man. It's
It-
lifted up, but it's lifted up in pride. That's the wrong way to be. It ain't up to you keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You know, the Lord actually dealing with you and showing you and leading you and guiding you. His spirit that's lifted up is all in wickedness, right? And the fact that the people are clapping on this wickedness, whatever, he's more emboldened to do it, man.
It says, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a
doctrine. Doctrine. Philosophies that he put out here. You can believe, you can be agnostic. You can be agnostic, you can be atheist. You can be a Christian, you can be Buddhist, you can be into Hindu, you can be into the Nation of Islam. Come as you are. Yeah, come as you are. That's that wine. Man. That's what are the nations not drunk off of? Right. That's that wine, man. Because everybody's I have my personal relationship with God. You know, yeah, we may have 100 or so different names for God, but there's only one God, and He knows my heart. That's a lie, man. You believe in it, that's a doctrine. That's a standard. All right?
It says, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
Why is he a proud man? Because he forced everybody by the force of the sword, man. Forced his neighbor to drink. And what? Well, you gotta seen it. I grew up in the store. Well, you like here it is. Here it is. This dude probably drank one beer. You know he kind of throw it off on that, but he know his limit. What is this big brolic guy or whatever? He got a couple of his homies and pushing on. Hey, come on, man, take a shot. Be a man. Yeah. And then when the man drunk, boy, you dumb, boy. You now he bragging on you. Can't hold on. Look at you ain't like it's like nah, man. You don't move like that.
They call that influence.
Yeah. But Esau did it by the influence of the sword, man. By that blessing.
Yeah. And it says also how his tongue walked throughout the earth. Yeah. It's also the influence of his policy where he pushed through. He made it where you have to bow down to legislation.
And then what he does is just like you said, the example that you gave, you nudged him to drink, and then he drank and he's staggering now, and he out of it, you making fun of him. Well, all of these circumstances that Jake is in, through redlining, through gentrification, through all of these different policies that he's passed, he's created the circumstances Jake is in, and then laughing at Jake about it. You know? All right, I continue on. Ow, you holding my boots, man. Continue it on. It says, who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death.
Enlarges his desire as hell. Why does he have a military base on every single continent, man? Why? Because hey, he can't be satisfied, man. Everywhere he goes there, he has to do it. You gotta get his hands to something. He has to be the person. He has to explore.
You feel like that's his
Yeah.
And they want to control too. It's all about control. That's why they have such a big controversy with Iran, because they can't fully control their government. It's basically an independent, government, not up under United States.
That's why you got a big thing with China. Hey, yo, man. Esau, you pissing Moab off. Hey, Moab ain't playing like he ain't been up to South China Sea. Man, those artificial islands, he put in that work. Esau want to come and take it from him. It's like, nah, man, you don't keep it home. He enlarges his desires. Here it is, Moab say, you know what? I ain't got no more damn land to really build on. I'm finna create me some more land. And he goes and do it. Esau said, nah, you can't do that, man. We own the war. But nah, you ain't doing that. We need to have a hand in it. If we can't have a hand in it, you can't have it. Woo! Enlarges his desires. Hey.
And it says, and cannot be satisfied.
So, hey, no matter what, though, you want to say
something? Oh, that's how you know when it's talking about the devil. It's all that is metaphorical. Because it's speaking about a man. It's saying he is proud, and then it's talking about how he enlarges his desires hell. If Satan already, how they say in mythology, Satan rules over the underworld, how does he enlarge hell? The setting of the underworld was supposed to have been created for a sake. That's talking about a man that's basically running amok upon the face of the earth. It's as simple as that. But they put it in allegorical speech. Him being proud, it speaks about how he gathered all nations and peoples and tongues. And ain't talking about the devil, the spiritual demon Satan that's doing that. It's talking about people, nations, man.
It even goes when it says, but gather unto him all nations.
Gather all.
Great melting pot. I stayed in DC one time, man. I ain't never seen that many different hues and tones of brown skin, man. Because Esau don't show you that on television. Not here in America, he don't. Like at the time that I went, it's just like, yo, you are darker than me. Damn. This Walmart darker than me. Damn, good dark. It's like, okay. You start to see it. This is that great melting pot, man. If you go to New York, you go to California, you go to DC, you can damn near find every nationality on the face of earth within these particular metropolitan areas. All right, so read that back.
Con, it says,
I'm gonna get ready to step down.
neither keepeth at home who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people.
And that's Esau, man. He heapeth unto him all people, because him heaping unto him all people is the fact he'll let these other nations come in and join his military, man. It is like I had a group that I was in the military with. It is like you from this foreign country, literally finna join Esau's military to go against your former country. You heaping unto you all type of people, man, to join your military, all in hopes of what? Being able to live that American dream, man. All right, bring that up.
Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their bed. And the morning and night they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
Yeah, Esau got the power of the sword. He got the power of the pen. Because of the power of the sword, gives you the power of the pen. Esau can sit up night and day. And how can I destroy these Negroes? I know, I got it. Hey, let's give them Section 8. Hey, let's get them food stamps. But yeah, let's give them crack, let's give them guns, let's push the father out. The father can't be in the house and she needs assistance from me. Never, Esau don't even give the Negro male food stamps. Like hey man, you're gonna have to prove all your children just to get food stamps here with Esau, man. And you know that if the mother's living, that nigga woman ain't finna give you paperwork from your kids, man. You finna have to pay for that.
And the hardest thing to get approved for loans.
Income tax, a lot of times, the mail
Go to the work. Hey, you bet. I hope, because a lot of Jakes don't even be knowing their own kids' Social Security. I remember one time me and my redhead got into it, Hey, that particular tax season, shit, man, I beat her to the punch, man. Gotcha. That's how it goes, man. You gotta be up on it. But Esau sets up in his bed day and night. Like, how can I oppress the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American? Like the government's doing is gentrification. Now you stay further out away from this job that you used to stay 5 minutes away from. Now he's pushing you out. You can't stay here no more.
Oh, and then what they do is they don't put any bus lines out there, so you can't even get back out there.
Yeah, so now here it is. They used to walk to work, they catch the bus, they finish. Can't go, man. You gotta quit, man. Now what? Still subject to those payments. You're gonna lose this house, you're gonna lose this car, you're gonna lose that freak. All because of Esau.
Verse 2. And they covet bills and take them by violence. Micah 2 and 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their bed. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
Esau does practice it. All these things that Donald Trump slid in up under our noses, they finna be brought to light up under Joe Biden. That's right. Watch. Yep. And now people come, oh my God, hey, it ain't new.
Yeah. They say he signed more executive orders than any other president within his short time. So they're scratching the pen, man. Scratching all the things out the pen.
Getting it cracking, man.
Yeah.
Why? Because this thing is, as the scripture said, it's within his power, man. Earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Hey, and if I can say too, where do you get all these executive orders from? They was already printed and made and ready for you to sign as soon as you got in office. You know, like it was just one thing where Joe Biden was signing, they got him on mic saying, "What am I signing?" Like, dude saying, like, "What am I signing?" Like, you just signing shit. Signing shit, man.
That's how you know it's an agenda, man. You know, and Biden is just one devil. It's an assembly of devils, and devils that rule over devils. You have something known as a shadow government. Most people don't understand that it's actually a elite government that controls these different governments that most people know of. The United States of America, Russia. There's always a shadow government of prominent individuals that you don't usually see on the media. That's influencing all the things behind the scenes, man. And they set up these different puppet presidents. They set up these prime ministers. They set up these different leaders in certain positions and make it where they don't even have to take a hit. That was the reason. They said that was the reason why. Who stepped down recently? Was it Jeff Bezos or was it? Yeah, they said that was a reason why he stepped down. He stepped down to an under position, and that position was significant in the pushing of the corporate. It's not always about the top position. Most people look at that position and like, all right, if I'm not that, then if you under that, then you weaker. A lot of times they'll have these different positions that be under these different presidents in these certain administrations, which are key power points. But Jake doesn't understand the position of government. They don't understand how the system works. So they'll blame one man or a few men.
Not understanding that. That's one thing I will say Esau did learn from his past, that he didn't learn from any of his others was really when they put what was King Henry to death. They drug him out of his castle and put his ass to death, man. They beheaded him. Esau understood then, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be on the face of everything. And I'm gonna just play the background. I'm gonna use puppets, man. And all of these leaders that the brother's going into is just the great Hydra monster, man. You cut off one head, two pop up in his place, man. So you really ain't defeating this monster, man. You're gonna have to rip his heart out to stop this. And the only way that's gonna happen is by way of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. All right, I'm gonna get ready to step down. I want this brother to bring it up. Okay, you bring it up.
This is all right. Come. Psalm chapter 64 and 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
He said, hide me from the secret counsel. Those counsels that the Jekyll Island, that's a secret counsel, man. You know? So 1913, they down here in Georgia, they got rid of the backing of the dollar. Was it?
Well, that was when they established the Federal Reserve. It was around World War I. I think it was up to 1917, 1916, 1917. But they had, I think, around that time, if I'm not mistaken, the Federal Reserve Act. Basically, that was the beginning of that establishing of fiat currency. So then they started to push, integrate this Federal Reserve, these Federal Reserve notes, heavily within the system, and pushed out the gold standard. That's why you had the gold confiscation acts. You had all kind of confiscation acts and different acts that took place where they started to push out the gold standard. Because you could actually, back in the day, you could actually take $1 or $5 and it would actually have what's on the bill to the closest. How is it worded?
Yeah, it was redeemable.
Right. And you had basically gold that was heavily in circulation. Most people knew that in order to really house wealth, you should actually have some type of gold, and a gold standard within the money is supposed to be like that. That was the interchangeableness of it. Back in the scriptures, you had actually gold and silver. Men would carry these different treasures, even in Rome. But what the Esau through his witchcraft, that's even in the scriptures speak about diverse weights and things of that nature. He started to transition the financial standard of America, which is basically the cornerstone of his witchcraft. That's what people kill for, is this money.
Hey, and real quick, I just wanted to add because he had mentioned Jekyll Island. If you understand how the fractional reserve system was placed, literally speaking, the fractional reserve, the Federal Reserve System took root in Georgia, and from Georgia, it infected the whole entire world because it pushed fractional reserve system throughout all of the world. Because you got the Asian fractional reserve system, the African fractional reserve system. You know, you got the European fractional reserve system. All that shit came from Georgia.
That was all based on what?
Oh, definitely. You know, saying that was part of the
Hey, that goes into what Henry is it Henry Ford or Thomas Ford? Thomas Ford, the inventor of the Henry Ford. That's what Henry Ford said in one of his autobiographies. He was like, "Yo, if these folks understood money, they would have these politicians out in the streets tonight, and they would all be hung. It would be blood in the streets, man. If they really understood how their money worked. That's why even Henry Ford didn't mess with these Jews, these so-called Jews, man. He didn't mess with them because he understood how deceivious and nefarious they were, man. All right.
What the tongue like a sword, and then their bow to shoot the arrows, even their words.
And that's Esau, man. Through his legislation, through his bywords and proverbs that he stick on that stigma that so-called Negroes, Latino, and Native Americans have throughout the world. That's all done by way of Esau.
Yeah, I got you. This Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall come, except there come a falling away first.
We had that falling away during the time of slavery. Like, there no Jake calling on the Lord, maybe how about you outside. So Jake fell away, guys. We were disconnected from our pocket. No, they make it 1, 2, 3. It was Jake's that knew that we were Israelites. We wasn't being pushed to that one Jake probably stayed in California. Next Jake probably stayed somewhere in Europe, over there in captivity. Another probably stayed in South America. But the word of the Lord is not in the earth. The name of the Lord is not in the earth.
You know what I'm saying? That man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Yeah, who's that son of perdition? The son of destruction. Esau. He's been revealed. Isaac been revealed. Esau saw up. He saw up. By way of the enemy. He's been completely revealed. You know, his history books told us of his great conquest throughout the earth. But he thought that the earth was going to stay in a stagnant place in which knowledge wouldn't increase. When knowledge increased, people actually started to question things because the Lord was beginning to bring his prophets back, right? During the time of just if we want to say elder opportunities, right? That one verse right there, it reverberated throughout the entire globe, right? This one individual, and that was the start of something, right? Oh, knowledge is back now. Hey, because he finna do some work, he finna put in some work, man. We finna get it back. That's how Esau is being revealed, man. That son of perdition. Because now we're bringing out the intricacies of how he went about taking over the earth, man. And it's right here. You put it out here in front of us, to float in front of us, to make us fear you. And now the filthiness of how you went about it is really being shown. Now your shame is being shown as well, man.
Verse 4, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God.
Yeah, so if it's not no religion is is recognized unless Esau recognized. He got to put a stamp off on it, right? If you go in there and say, yo, I believe in this, Esau, he gonna go through the papers. Yo, it's not one of the recognized things. One of the recognized institutions. No, you can't get off of that, Jake. That's how
really, for the most part, even the religions that's recognizable. You know, certain days Esau don't want you to get off. Because the thing is, how Esau has it, for the most part, if you work government-based jobs, that's the only times where you can get majority of these holidays off. Outside of that, you can't get majority of these holidays off, depending on the type of job you work. And that's all dealing with his policy. Because this policy can override religion, so to speak. You can say, well, I don't want to shave my beard. I don't want to, look this way due to my religion. Well, you ain't gonna be able to get the job done. So now you got to compromise. Now you have to speak a certain way. You got to act a certain way. When he give you an application, you got to check in one of the boxes with the Black, African American, Mexican. That's our politics.
And really, that's an effed up word. Nah, I hate this new compromise.
Yeah,
It's either yay or nay, man. It's true. That's what the Lord said. They gave you nay. There ain't no gray areas, man. If I like apples, you like oranges. Hey, we choose oranges. What? I lost. Even if I said, okay, we'll get apples, man. I lost. It's either one or the two, man.
well, that's the illusion of choice.
Yeah, God.
Jake tries to push out a nationality and really try to push out a spirit that's not feasible for the system. So they'll just make it like they don't even acknowledge it. That's what they try to do with us in the truth. They just try to ignore us. Most people, they don't even, for the most part, publicize this. And if they do put us on the news, it's always some type of hate speech. It never goes to the doctrine of what we're pushing. It actually examines the credibility of what we say, because we really bring out factual evidence, knowledge, articles, history, all these different things provided by the same Bible that everybody says that they know and believe in and trust. But we are the enemies. At first, Galatians was that 1:6, 4:16. Yeah. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Yep.
Take that Psalm chapter 2, verse 4, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worship, so that he has the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High.
And that's Esau. That's why he's going to push the chip on him. Because at the end of the day, he wants power over you, man, complete control over you. If you say anything that contradicts or goes against the grain of the way he pushing things, hey, he's just gonna cut your chip off. Right? That's how he wants to be the Most High. Because to be honest, man, the Lord said I could have been destroyed this world over 10,000 times over, man. I could have raised up stones to serve me better than you so-called Negro 5 Native American. So it's nothing for the Lord to get rid of it. You get back one time.
Take that Psalm chapter 2, verse 4, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worship, so that he has God.
So Yahushua too, because Yahushua is worshipped by the Israelites. That's why he painted Yahushua as the color of his skin. Right?
It says, or that is worship, so that he has God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
See, that's the thing. He saw that because he controls the devil to a certain degree by way of the sword. He feels like he's the Heavenly Father. He decrees the issue of death. But yeah, he can't give life, man. No thing he deserves. Exactly. But yeah, he wants to sit in the seat of the Most High. Why else is he taking Jake? He's taking all these body parts from Jake, taking blood out of you, doing whatever that promo, whatever the stuff, like trying to live for forever. He wants to be the Most High, man. Yeah. He wants to tap into the powers of the Most High, so you'll worship him. He just put the Most High to the alcohol. But that's why this man must be brought down, man. If the Lord don't bring this dude down, man, we will 15 years from now, man. If it were to be that,
no flesh will be saved.
No flesh will be saved. And, that's all I have to experience. I want to end out by giving my word.
Well, get out this. Yeah. You go first,
Isaiah chapter 29, verse 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay.
Yeah, it says, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. And when you're dealing with the verses above, it's dealing with the workers. It said, matter of fact, go to verse 15.
Isaiah 29:15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord.
That's talking about Esau. Through the elites. It's a reason why you have the term secret society. And whenever anybody speaks about secret society as a commoner, or in today's time looked at like a peasant, so to speak, they ignore the facts. But it's deceptive. It's individuals that hide their counsel. And whenever you deal with counsel, it's multiple individuals, think tanks, masterminds. They come together and they have a concerted effort to push a plan. and dealing with these different elite councils, you ain't there with making having $2-3 million network, man. Talking about the elite of the elites, and they push. You see how much money that Bill Gates pushed for this vaccine alone? These certain devils that can donate $100 million towards the cause. 100. Well, hell, when you deal with these presidential campaigns, they have these certain billionaires within their back pockets so they can help fund that campaign. And they campaign. Hell, this presidential election that was in the billions, if I'm not mistaken. If not, I think it hit like a quarter million funding. The numbers are pretty high. So these devils that actually do the same thing and push certain agendas, they well, that's investments on the left hand side. It's the reason why when you're dealing with the elites, they would fund both sides of the war. You have the 5 sons of this individual. If I'm not mistaken, it was Maya Shell Bauer. He had 5 sons. And I think it was Moses, you had Nathan, you had Solomon, and then 2 others. And thinking their names right now. But those 5 individuals, they took over the bank. That was the beginning of the elite bank. All right. And later on, you had the New Front, you had all these different elite houses that sprang up, which a lot of them were, of course, European houses. And not only did they take over the banking industry, they took over war. All right, they started to finance guns, trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, education, resources, oil. All right, top commodities that actually help it where the engine runs, so to keep the system going. Industries. All right, because one thing that these devils did, dealing even with the Jews, is they financed slavery. All right, they actually dealing with the Jews per se, they actually funded the slave ship, man. So all the slaves that was brought here against their will and work, whether through cash crops or later through the industrial age, all that money that was reaped got paid to management, so to speak, and CEOs, and they paid taxes to the bigger guys, man. That run the world to the day, man. Keep going. But see, people don't know how to crawl down the rabbit hole, so to speak, and basically get to the bottom of the bottom layer of the situation, man. Because what Jake just looks at the hell that they going through day by day. They look at their main ops is their baby mama, man. That's the one that's giving them the most hell, not knowing that she's a creation of the system. I think even Tupac, he had a saying like that. He said, "Can't trust my lady because she's a product of this poison." But see, Jake don't really think about that. They just look at it, she just a demon. Nah, the system, man. It's not just her. It's the system that actually grooms the black woman, creates the black woman, creates the black man. Because we never went by these nationalities in terms any damn way. Israelite woman is different than a black woman. A black woman is a brute savage and is a product of this system. Same thing with a black man. Same thing with a Latin man. Same thing with a Latin woman. And that's why we're fighting to get up out of this kingdom ultimately at the end of the day.
That's right. I'll read the top. It says, woe unto them that seek the 100 counsel of the Lord.
Right. So the Lord has instruction for those individuals. Keep going.
And their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us?
Who seeth us, who knoweth us. That's when these different individuals get together and they do ritual sacrifices too. All right. And you'll just watch these different television shows. I remember back in the day, I don't know what they really have now dealing with witchcraft. I think they got shows like American Horror Story, but I remember back then they would have like True Blood, the vampires, and you'll see vampires drinking blood in these different council meetings. And you'll think, oh, that's just a good show. Then you'll turn off the TV and you get back to reality like those things ain't really going on, man. These devils sacrifice babies. They have ritual sacrifice. They do sex magic. You see these different things going on where they'll have a goat head, a chopped out goat head in the middle of their tables. I used to have this book. I think I still might have it. I'm gonna throw it to you too. It was called Codex Magic. It was dealing with different codexes and it was dealing with magic, witchcraft. And one thing, passage in the book, it would show that, say, this is 7 seats but you got 6 devils sit down. And they would say that they would leave a seat open for Satan. That's one of the main things. And they would actually have like a couple of roses, all those different things. I don't know if that represented the blood. I forget what it represented, but it was dealing with the witchcraft, you know. And then they'll have these different individuals set up. Aleister Crowley, for instance. And then they'll set up these different educational centers. And the higher you get into the educational centers, you become a big boy witch. And these sororities, when you're dealing with Yale, the Ivy League school, Ivy League really goes back to witchcraft too when you're dealing with Baptists. But these Ivy League schools, you have Princeton, you have Yale, you got Harvard. Brothers went to college. I got to help you out. Brown. Was it 5 or 6?
Yes.
But for the most part, dealing with all those different, and then you deal with these black colleges too.
Yeah.
Morehouse and things of that nature, these different sororities, Spelman. It's all kind of witchcraft and Satanism that goes on, man. But as you graduate, the higher and wickeder you go, but it still caps to it. Yeah, they don't let you get to the elite status. That's why you have Boule, the black Boule, and I think that Boule deals with servants, right? It's actually a byword. That term Boule really goes back to the byword, but it shows that it's still a different layer. Just because Boule don't mean that you truly, you know, in that house. And Mason, I just say, I remember a lot of dicks. They'll be like, you know, Beyonce and Illuminati, Jay-Z and Illuminati. No, they not. They just lesson pawns being used to push an agenda.
Verse 16, surely you're turning the things upside down.
Surely you're turning of things upside down. When this devil got his, got the scepter to the position of power, he devised to turn everything upside down. I'm going to put a woman over a man. I'm going to put a man, a so-called black man, at the bottom of all nations. Because even when you're dealing with, you have the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, and really when you're dealing with the 18 nations, it's totally turned upside down. Dealing with the 12 tribes, Judah is the lowest tribe out of all 12 tribes. And that's the head tribe. And when you're dealing with the 18 nations, Esau is really the lowest of all nations. But he's at the forefront. He's the pinnacle of all nations in these times. That's totally upside down, man. And like I said, anything dealing with legislation, dealing with medicine, dealing with anything that shapes our society, it has to be a so-called white person that creates the patent to it, so to speak, or has the legislation that gets passed through these different branches, the judicial and the executive and the legislation branch when it goes to the House and the Senate. That's all devils. Ain't no niggas that's making actually policies and pushing big boy legislation, actual reforms. You jakes are fighting for rights in the system that's against you.
Surely you're turning things upside down, so be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not?
Keep going.
Or shall the thing framed of him that framed it, he had no understanding?
Yeah, dealing with Esau, he's not going to give the Lord any credibility. He doesn't look at the Lord as the power. They don't go to the 613 law, statutes, and commandments and read the law and look to impose the law in everyday life for so-called American citizens. If so, homosexuals would get put to death. They would be rehearsing the righteous acts. But instead, what do they do now? They give lesbians rights. Homosexuals have way more rights than straight men. They have this. Hell, homosexuals are protected better in this system than black men. That's not coincidental. That's push. That's why it's a systematic oppression. That's how you know this devil hates you too, because he would rather a homosexual to be in a position of power than majority of you blacks.
Right.
And especially the stern ones, because when you're even dealing with the Israelites, whenever nations took us down, it's an example within, I think, the Book of Kings. It said that they basically took the wise ones of the nation, all right, and they oppressed the wisest ones, the heaviest, but all the fools and all the ones that basically didn't have an inclination to really build and level up, they just let them stay free, and they gave them liberty. It's the same thing now. Esau, well, you see the celebrities, all of them are buffoons. That's all designed like I said, systematically to keep you jakes down. That was
Correlated to a movie, so make it even easier for you to see how it's done with the movie Divergent. Okay, you see the first movie of that trilogy, Divergent. That's exactly what it was. Everybody had one skill, but the Divergent they have a multiple skills.
Yeah.
They didn't want them to rise up and rule people. They wanted to keep people kind of simple and dumb. So they were docile, so they would round them up, kill off the Divergent. That's why Charlie Divergent was a problem. Meaning you have the ability of all the time.
Yep.
So to speak. So they wanted to have the simplistic form or the suppression of simple. No different in the society today.
Yep.
This is Daniel 8 and 25. And it says, improve his policy also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
Yeah, it says that through his policy, legislations, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. You see examples of that even in the scriptures during the time of Daniel, during the time of well, it's all throughout the scriptures. Whenever a kingdom rose up, you would see that they would have letters established, either to worship the king or really to further oppress Jake. You read in I think it's First and Second Esdras where they actually had letters where they was looking to even conspire against Israelites that was building the temple. So how much more now? This system is not going to do anything that's going to grant us, credence, so to speak, and give us leverage to build, man.
It was a great example of how they would oppress Jake to make him worship the king to the point that they want to do away with our laws. That's in our history. That's why we have the Israelite foreigners that didn't know the law. Were being taken away starting at the time of the Greeks. By the time we got to the Romans, that's when you start seeing the influx of Jacob and scattered in the Israelite foreigners at that point.
Yeah.
But they were really citizens through their fatherline of Israel.
Yeah. You had ancient world, what they call it, eugenics. You had it during the time of Exodus and also in the time of Matthew where they was killing off their males. That's in modern times that would be abortion. Yep, Egypt did it. And it was mainly dealing with the firstborn males or whatnot, the males of the line, because they know that one thing about men of nations, they carry strength. And men could be a problem, especially dealing with the ones that haven't been subjected to the like oppressed bastard slaves. They're gonna do whatever they can to break down that male. That's why you have the term book breaking, man. Mr. Morning?
Yeah. And it says, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
Yeah, that heart represents a lot his mind. Anything that his mind devises to do and to push, they're gonna push it, man. Like I said, eugenics. Where now you got an abortion clock. You can look at how many black babies are aborted on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, man. And I seen this documentary dealing with ancient world sacrifice. They were dealing with a Balaam or a Baal, and then, would tell you what the law thou shalt not have the fire unto Molech. And it was like a biblical archaeology. They were going to the digs, they were going to certain parts throughout the Middle East, but it was basically a shrine dealing with the altar of Molech. And he was basically going into how so many children would get sacrificed onto the altar. But what he said was, these altars don't compare today to these abortion clinics that they have, or back then don't compare to these abortion clinics that they have today. These doctors run through children, man. There's nothing through these different abortion clinics, Plan B, and the different stages. I remember looking at even how they abort. That's a filthy practice, man. Break up the baby, and sometimes they'll get the clamps and yank it throughout through the woman's vagina.
He's not really telling you to just go out and get it. Somebody will come and see the comedy and see the reality of how he's telling you some real shit. That's a lot of what people do. They'll give you a real scenario, and they'll put in a funny telling you when he said it, so to speak. But really just bring like what
Shed light on it. Yep.
yeah, shed light on it. But they believe you trying to kill certain power back. So the very strong, see, that's
where it says, then they take the DNA, the stem cells from the baby, put it in the max and say, take it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, they do say something.
And then they'll use these different departments, the FDA and these other food industries, and then they'll approve it. That's witchcraft. You got it. Oh, you know that.
And it says, he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, and shall be broken without end.
Got to stand with the prince. And that even goes into that battle of Armageddon too. Because Esau proud, his pride is not going to allow him to humble down to the Most High. Even if they see big boy chariots and know that that's the chariots of God. They're not going to just bow down the government. You know, this you're not going to see on the corner, so to speak, on news. This is Biden. The Bible says that these are chariots of God. We're going to give up the government and we're going to let them rule. It says, the Bible also says there's Israelites. So you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, y'all can go home now.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to be the case. These devils going to mount up their bombers, their fighter jets, and what it said, he was scared. Get dirt.
About this movie, Cosmic Slot. You know about Cosmic Slot, right? The episodes, like episodes, 20 episodes, before the UFOs showed up to America, it's just going all the people that have intelligence. You know what I'm saying? So people trying to figure out this shit. Like, no, so we go buy. What do you want for it? It doesn't matter what you want for it. Let us have in turn, we'll clean up your planet. We'll clean your planet up. We'll clean the water, the air, we'll keep you doing. Like we're doing a gift to take off their hands. Yeah. Right? People, there was a deliberation problem.
Yeah, they had a council meeting. That's good.
Why we let our study go? Oh, yeah. When they're here, help them get all this shit. Like, how we gonna let that go?
Just like Pharaoh, that's exactly what I'm thinking about. It's the repeats of that. That's it's a more
Second chapter 11, verse 21. For the first, I shall not judge the truth, for thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast slow life, and destroyed the glories of them that brought forth truth, and it cast down the walls of such as these the heart. Therefore is thy wrongful view to us as the highest, and thy pride into the mighty. Like you were saying, you doing all this stuff, right? You're destroying the earth, children, community, civilizations, and what's that other precept? You thought y'all work together, one such as thyself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Okay, precept.
And also, you got it.
I was gonna say it said that his basically his iniquity is knocked on the Most High's doorstep, going up to the heavens. So the more you done got the Most High's attention.
And it also goes more because first now it says no more of our claws and our talons. Yeah, if you can read, that's a good right there. That's the eagle. Yeah, and that's Esau persecuting these different nations. Because the eagle is a very, very powerful bird. Apex predator. When you're dealing even with predators, you got predators and you got apex predators. You got predators that hunt other predators. Eagles don't get hunted. Killer whales, nothing above it. Like a killer whale, that would be an apex predator. That predator hunts other whales. Yep.
Second Ezra 11:44. The highest also has looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended. It is
We in the end. Look at these proud times to tell you that second Ezra 8:50. You know how so much pride would be upon just a low man, a common. You see these different things, you can't tell shit, man. Because everybody has their idol they embrace, and depending on the idol that you worship, you get credence from that. People respect you. See, you know, the negative vibration that you have on you, it attracts individuals. Tattoos and all this little shit that these different jakes put all over their bodies, and then they'll get more viewers, and then they'll get monetized, and they get paid for it. And that's dealing with the pride of each and every individual. And that's just a low jake. How much more these different elites, these multi-billionaires, man?
they are ended, and its abominations are fulfilled.
They are ended and his abominations are fulfilled. This is the end. Every inkling of wickedness that could be pushed has been pushed basically further from America. No civilization has created any type of technical advancements like America. Now, of course, America took a lot of their strengths from these different nations, their predecessors, as well as the Israelites in this captivity. But they pushed all kind of wickedness, man. Transgenderism. They didn't have that shit back in the ancient world. That's further modifications of a body of different people that do augmentations. These devils. And the thing is, you can go to a doctor for damn near any and everything, man. If you got the amount of money, you can go to a doctor and change your whole body, man. Change your skin tone. You know, you had that movie, Face Off, I think, back in the day with Nicolas Cage, John Travolta. And you got those individuals that actually do that, man.
I saw this comedian in the lady. She was like, the way surgery and plastic surgery is going in Hollywood nowadays, it's crazy. It's going to force on you to get a personality. That's how it's going to go back. So then I got a little chance. That's a red flag. Like, then I'm going to have a chance. I got personality. Because everybody was turning to that fake look. So now I'm going to be turned by that. That's how our business is. That's witchcraft.
To the point,
Somebody will look like they really look.
and that witchcraft gets to the point where if you look normal, you're looked at like you're weird. All that artificial, yeah, for your tattoo, for your real, yeah.
Where's your answer?
Yep. Your edge up is on it. Okay, yeah, that last dealing with home.
Second Ezra 11:45. And therefore appear no more, thou eagle.
And therefore appear no more thou eagle. That was talking about ancient world, but that's talking about modern America. Keep going.
Nor thy horrible wings.
Nor thy horrible wings. The wings of the eagle are used for elevation. Esau, through his power, he's elevated over all nations, kingdoms, and tongues. All right, and he has surveillance. See, one thing they'll do is take down different nations, and they'll establish what's known as a surveillance state. All right, or another term they'll use is Orwellian government. They watch everything. That's when you had that movie Eagle Eye. Oh, which one? Oh, yeah, George Orwell. Yeah. Yeah, Eagle Eye with Shia LaBeouf. I think him. Enemy of the state. On the surveillance. Yeah. And see, he'll use that, and the cameras be cheap as hell. That's the thing about it. Everything that you have damn near technologically nowadays has a camera on it. And your children, it's at the point where because you remember back in the day when phones first started booming, it was like one phone per household. Now your children, certain grandkids got phones and things like that.
Obama phone.
No, but now they got a big ass tablet. That's like having a laptop.
Years ago, like they don't. It's so good for the market with these things so much now. Like nobody cares.
Nobody don't care.
And back then, they were just coming out. Big ass tablets.
Yep.
Just grab the shit right on.
Nowadays, it ain't nothing. They give them out at school nowadays.
They be showing you how Esau be playing on the people. He be busting their head for 5-6 years, and then he'll just put it on out there for the free shit. Like, but you charging $1,000 when they first hit. Come on, man.
Okay, yeah, this is the book of Job, which we're going to. Just Job 20 and start at verse 6. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens and his head reach into the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung.
That's also tells you that also in Obadiah. Oh, you got that? You know, this devil had to reach farther than any other nation because it says that Esau is the end of the thing and Jacob is the beginning of it and following. So the Lord set up Esau to be the last. Oh, it tells you that also in Numbers, which says Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end is that he shall perish forever. So the Lord put the spirit on these devils to have certain type of technological advancements, to put their budget, put all their money into nuclear technology, science, all these different things, and really the spirit of the Lord dumped the left-hand side on the Edomites, man. Dump all spirit of evil on them so that they could, so it could be fulfilled and so that they could be judged. It tells you that also in Exodus. The Lord said he put a spirit on Pharaoh to be stubborn, to be cocky, to be haughty, so that it could be known his power. It's all for the glory and praises to go to Yahweh Shabbat Shah at the end of the day. You know, and for people to see that as much as people prop up this man as a God, he's going to show that he's not a God. He's just a man. And it says in 1 hour, this kingdom shall be brought not in desolation. It took hundreds of years to build this kingdom. You got it.
It's Job 20 and 7. Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found.
The scheme of eternity, you will hear about the legend of what an Edomite was and the generations. You're going to be so far out of your mind. You never know that he ever existed. You can't be like, what's an Edomite? But in the scheme of eternity, after 1,000 years, that sounds long enough. But after 1,000 years, once you get to 2, 3, when you start getting to the span of what eternity is, he'll never be there. He's like, who was ever there? I can't imagine. The generation will be able to imagine life of having a devil on the earth persecuted.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
That's the epitome of the kingdom of heaven, where you don't have to have all this type of negativity to ride you, really through the left-hand side spirits, where you won't have a devil. Because really in the kingdom of heaven, you're not going to need a devil. It tells you that in Jeremiah 31 and 31, how the law, statutes, and commandments are going to be lodged within our inward parts. So we don't need temptation. We're not going to even have to go off to the point where we need a tempter to bring us down, so to speak. And did you have a question, sir? You had anything? Oh, okay.
Thus said the hour, the free transgressions of Edom and before, I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
Yeah, see, the Lord doesn't forget. The scripture says that the Lord requires that we fast. And see, in today's time, people look at you like you're petty because you bring up stuff from the past. Y'all still talking about slavery? That happened hundreds of years ago. You know, get with modern times. Take self-accountability. We've been free. These are the arguments that our people will say to us too, man. You got it.
That's exactly what you said. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
And even in Esau's his government system, what do they have? The statute of limitation, so to speak. If you do wickedness after a certain amount of time, after it passes, you can never get prosecuted for that crime.
Statutory limit, something like that.
Statutes of limitation. So, and these devils did things hundreds of years ago. But it tells you in Isaiah 14:21 that we're going to punish the children from what their forefathers did. So the Lord requires generations down the line. Because these devils reap from their fathers and their forefathers. All these billionaires, whether You look at these basketball and football teams, all those teams be owned by billionaires, man. And they didn't just fall into a billion in this lifetime. No, that's generational wealth. And like us, we're under generational curses. So in order for things to be turned right side up, it has to be things that are required from the past, man. We have to be judged accordingly, and Esau has to be judged accordingly. Because if not, if there wasn't a power, really this devil will rule on forever, man. The Lord has to hit that giant reset button, man. Is there more of that?
It says, because he did pursue his brother with the sword.
Because he did pursue his brother with the sword. And Esau's power is in the sword. Genesis 27th chapter. When they went to the west coast of Africa as well as came here with Christopher Columbus in 1492, they came here on a mission. They don't believe that BS where they basically saying that Christopher Columbus was trying to go to India.
Yeah, he got lost.
He got lost. Nah, he came here. You know, for that, the movie 1492. He said when he was talking to a fellow navigator, they was basically having a discussion, and he was basically speaking about coming to the Americas. It wasn't called Americas back then, but he said that he read the book of Ezra. It was another I don't know if he said Marco Polo, but one individual that he spoke of, he was speaking about Ezra, and the dude was like, Ezra was a Jew, and he said, and so was Christ. So he read the book of Ezra because it tells you in the book of Ezra, 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, around the 40th verse. It was a place that neither mankind dwelt. Matter of fact, that's how he knew to go there. And he brought Hebrew interpreters. That's it. So it all makes sense. So if you come into a location that you don't know nothing about with interpreters, talking about reading a book, he knew. He had a clear idea. You got that?
2nd Ezra 13 and 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king, who Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves. That they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
And that was the Americans. They took the expedition, the northern kingdom, and then they basically split up. They went went through the Horn of Africa, and they dispersed. That's where you have so-called Latin tribes. And so when Christopher Columbus and his expedition, through his expedition came to the Americas, he knew exactly who it was. You had what was this individual? We're dealing with the Native Americans, history of the Native American Indians, James Adair.
Yeah.
When he came, he seen that their spirit resonated so much with the Israelites, he believed that they were Israelites, which we know. Keeping the holy days. But it's like, where are these individuals getting this type of inspiration from?
It's like they moved to go down there because of King Solomon and his Navy ships. You should say these voyages out there, it would take about 3 years to return to get victuals and things that was cultivated in the Americas.
Spoken of peacock. Peacock is on the indigenous to South America. So how did King Solomon get a peacock? They had to come over here, man.
And another proof that is with Hiram Abiff, because Hiram Abiff was one of Solomon's he basically helped him get the
Hiram had his own navy,
but Hiram had the navy. And in South America, you have the Olmecs heads. The Olmecs heads are like big Hamites, man, big nose Hamites. But they don't know. That's a mystery. When they'll have these different ancient alien shows and things of that nature, and they try to decipher the mystery. But that's a mystery because it actually goes back to the scriptures. Keep going. Because we basically reading about that men in the Bible knew that America was here, living all the way on the other side of the earth.
but that's why Esau called it mystery, because if he had to go to the scriptures to give you the validity of what these heads mean, that would validate the whole scripture. And he don't want the scripture to be validated.
But that's why he's the devil. He's the great deceiver.
Second Ezra 13 and 42. That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Right.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river.
That's right.
For the Most High then showed signs for them and held them and held.
Oh, yeah. And you have a lot of maps that show that it was Americas, man. You know, but it was a time when most people believed that the earth was flat. And really these elites, the ones that rule over you, they don't ever tell you the full truth. They just spoke about declassifying so-called UFO evidence that they've been holding on to for decades. But now they're gonna come out with it. It's over 60 years. Over 60 years.
Yeah, they had an account where manna was actually coming down in particular areas over I forget, it was somewhere over in Europe, and people would actually put it in boxes and try to hold it the next morning. It'd be gone. It disappeared, just like how it was in the times of old. Apostle Hall had one.
Okay.
So Ezra 13 and 44. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Because when you're dealing with south part of Africa, going through it's a lot of treacherous winds, a lot of the current that hit them off. So basically, the Spirit of the Lord directed them to the Americas. Yeah, basically. Took them down. Yeah, dealing with the book of Hosea, because that was the curses of the northern kingdom. It's more than that.
Really did.
It said, and did cast off all pity and his anger, and did tear perpetually and kept his wrath forever.
Right. So we all agreed that the white man, when he came to the Americas and when he visited us, it was not even because this isn't a black thing. This is dealing with blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and we all are exposing the truth of the Bible. And the Bible speaks about that we have an enemy, which is the so-called white man, and not because of his skin color, because you actually have Negroes. It tells you in the book of Matthew how we slept with other nations, and we became different color tones. Not about color, first thing. Yeah, Blake Griffin, for instance, extremely light, and his son. And if his son were to marry a white woman and had a child, that child would look extremely pale, so to speak. That's how the Israelite. Because when you're dealing with basically genetics and you deal with seed line, it's not even though you have a man and a woman that actually create a child, that child lineage and nationality is determined by the man. Why? Because the man holds the seed. One thing about your you as producing sperm, whenever you inseminate a woman, you have X and Y chromosome. She just has X and X. So a man's seed, that's why it's called a seed. It determines the sex and the nationality. See? But that's another thing that the white man likes. Because when you go to his, you deal with his science, he'll say that a mother and a father mix up, you have mixed children. So you have these different women, and you have men that be like, yeah, I'm 30% Native American, I'm 60% black, 10% this, I got 0.3% Asian. I mean, like the Lord don't make mixed drinks, man. The Lord deals with nationality, pure lineage. He ain't dealing with all that mix. And when you read the Bible, it always speaks about a particular people. If you actually sat down and read, a lot of pastors don't really speak about it. But are you familiar with the Israelites? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, because we always are, and that's what we teach about. The truth of the Bible, the validity of all the Bible is valid. But see, when you go to places like this, they won't tell you. Here it is, we so-called come out the same book, but we speak different things because they're not going to tell you the truth, and they bought and paid for by the government. It's a more you can say he's going to know that.
No, we bring way more I can think of only that it could be the children they talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I see the set of Florida already.
Yeah, that's why it's so important. I asked you that because that's the final exam. When you feel that, what's up? Yeah, yeah, no, put up 5G.
Cable trucks are still moving. And I was like, I'm asking people, I'm down over here all the time. I'm like, vehicle,
And still moving around.
and I said, this is free. Everybody can put the over here.
Nobody looks.
So, yeah, everybody's curfew, and I'm off the street, and so traffic is slowed down. For me, that's what they're doing. But I don't know if you guys know about this. Infrastructure underneath this thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, literally, they got underground in every major city that I've been to. Not even a major city. They already have underground cities and structure that work on weekend phone. And really, I got a picture. I know it. I got a good. I saw him like, get this into something. Before I got it.
But if I can say something too, and I'm gonna step down for the others. That's also in the Bible. It tells you, well, matter of fact, he's gonna read it. That's in the scriptures too.
It's the book of Amos, chapter 9, and verse 2. It says, though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them.
Right. So go to verse 1. Go to verse 1. Yeah, I'm telling you to go to verse 1.
All right. The book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 1. I saw the Lord standing upon the altar. He said, smite the little from the door and the post and shake. I cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword.
Right. But when you're dealing with ancient Egypt, this really is talking about a major judgment that's going to take place on the face of the earth. When you deal with ancient Egypt, do you remember the death angel that came through slaying? There was actually a death angel, it was like the death of the firstborn. But that was part of the plagues. That was an example. That's what this is basically speaking of is a major judgment that's going to take place in these times now. Keep going.
He that fleeth for them
He that fleeth of them, fleeth, trying to flee from judgment, shall not what?
shall not flee away.
Shall not get away. Keep going.
He that escapeth of them shall not be delivered.
He that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Now, you were speaking about these underground cities, they're using those as underground scapegoats. Like they were speaking about DUMBs. DUMB is deep underground military bases, and it's supposed to be, they call them also fallout shelters. And those are hundreds of millions. They put a lot of money into those underground bases. Well, I'm gonna bring out the last. I'm gonna bring out the precept though, so we go into the underground.
Verse 2. Though they dig into hell,
Though they dig into hell, can you physically dig into hell? No. Hell in the Hebrew goes into Sheol, Sheol, which is the pit or the grave. They dug all the way under, and it's 20, 30, 40, however many feet down. It's deep. So it says, though they dig into hell, what it say?
that shall my hand take them.
The hand represents power. That's from my hand. It's still gonna get them out of there. Can't escape. The Lord has judgment. When the Lord comes to judge, one thing about judgment, it takes place in all shapes and forms. It could be pestilence. It could be actually by the hand of the Lord. You know, it could be by his men. He has even a Leviathan. He actually has beings within the water, but they know as the Loch Ness monster. That's even written in the scripture, right? You know, so I did want to bring that out, but I'm gonna let the elder go ahead and jump in.
Go ahead, Brio. What we're gonna do is we're gonna deal with Esau even further. So go into that, bro.
This is Job 20. I'm gonna start at verse 3. This,
Boxcars they got with attention to how people in every major city so long as water rail when you ride, it's crazy for people to not live in the car that they have now. Like made for livestock or animals with the rails that they stack up along these train rails. Because they know that people are gonna be bucking and all that, so they gotta have faith. Like they did with Hitler, concentrate camp. And all you have to do when you ride, pay attention. They all out there, and you can go be in the city, Birmingham, outside, look in the waterway, they stack them up on the water rail. Just pay attention. And they usually too close to the military bases. They will concentrate. I just want to say that.
That's when it's national.
Right. But pay attention.
this is Job 20. I'm gonna start at verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment?
Right. That means you got a time frame on how long you're going to be able to rule. The Most High has a bound that you cannot pass. And you've been on borrowed time to the Most High opens up the minds of the elect, and the elect gets sealed fully, then that's when your time is up. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung.
Yeah. So we're going to get into why this is going to happen to so-called white men. Because you got people out there that think that it's unfair that the Most High will judge him that way, to the point where he's going to get judged, taken out of power, and ultimately he's going to be exterminated out of the earth. There'll be no more. That's why it says, go ahead, read that last part again.
This is Job 20 and verse 6. Though it's like in verse 5, that the triumph of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung.
That's right. You're gonna perish forever like your own dung, like your own shit. To put it in this proper perspective of how people would know what dung means today, it means shit. And also the scriptures say you're gonna be like a dream. People are gonna say, what happened to the so-called white man? But we're gonna get into why the Most High is gonna judge you so harshly. Matter of fact, you got the Job.
Job 14. Now this is Job 14 and verse 5.
seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
You cannot pass those bounds. You can't pass those bounds. Why? Because you was only set to rule over God's chosen people for a particular time. The kingdom of heaven belongs to the Hebrew Israelites, and that kingdom is coming soon. All the prophecies are showing that you're going to be on your way out, and we're going to be on our way in, led by our Lord and Savior Yahushua. Okay?
This is Job 21 and verse 21. It says, for what pleasure hath he in his house after him when the number of his months is cut off in the midst?
Number your months cut off. Your months represents your lineage, your line, your seed. It's what you got. So-called white man is called generational wealth, generational power. Where he passes his power and his wealth on down to his sons, the sons of his line. And then what he does is there's deep on reincarnation, and he comes back in that same life having that power. Right?
This is Psalms 49, verse 11. It says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places for all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
Call them after their own names because they think that's theirs, and it'll always be theirs, and they're going to continue on in their power forever, and no one's going to take them down. That's why he thinks that he has, like he's like the Most High.
God, this is Isaiah 5 and 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness.
Like the brother was going in earlier about how he's giving homosexuals laws, he's giving pedophiles laws, he legalized like bestiality, everything that the Bible says right, he says it's wrong, and everything the Bible says is wrong, he says it's right. He gives people the right to just go ahead and do these things. Do what I will. Exactly. Go ahead.
God, woe unto them that call evil good.
The scripture say, woe. Woe means destruction. Meaning you can do these things, but destruction is coming behind you. Go ahead.
And good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness.
And that's what you do. You put darkness for light and light for darkness. You broadcast all the wicked stuff, and you'll broadcast and focus on these churches and stuff, but the light is the brothers on the street teaching. You won't broadcast that. Why you won't broadcast that? Because you know that would be an invitation to Jake to wake up. Because you're putting it up on a high pedestal. If people believe what the so-called white man say, if the so-called white man came out and said, you know, black, Native Americans, and Hispanics, and Latinos, those are God's chosen people, that's when people will start believing it. As long as you saying it's not, people ain't gonna believe it. Because they believe in you because you make yourself everything. You make yourself the Most High, you make yourself the Lord, you make yourself the children of Israel, you make yourself the angels, everything is unto you. But the Most High gonna snatch that from you. Because those are lies. We break down strongholds up here.
That's right.
Right.
And if we break that stronghold on that lie, his power structure falls as well. He don't want to come out of power because it was part of the brother just read that their house shall continue forever.
That's right.
So they just want to. They want that blessing that Isaac gave Jacob, that he thought he was supposed to give with the prophecy to Jacob. So he wants that eternal kingdom of heaven for himself. So he's trying to relive it on earth through his own power against the power of the Heavenly Father. But he's in a trick bag.
Now, the second Ezra 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of, so like the beginning of it that follows.
Right. So when the Most High take you down, to put you out of the way, he's going to raise up his people, and they're going to be raised up in righteousness. 2/3 of our people got to catch it. They're going to catch that hell, and they're going to be destroyed right along with the so-called white man. 1/3 of the elect, the Most High is going to bring forth the kingdom with. And then we're going to rule in righteousness as it always should have been. We're going to have the law is going to be written on our inward parts. So we're not going to go off. So when you go back into Deuteronomy, when the Most High, Deuteronomy 28th chapter, gives you all these blessings in the first 14 verses, we'll have all that in abundance to the point that our heart won't desire anything except put foot in the other nations and so called white man for 1,000 years. Go ahead and get that. You know,
This is Amos chapter 9, verse 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shai.
sorry, bro. It's like read that thing.
This is Amos chapter 9, verse 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
How is it the same sinful kingdom? And we was going to earlier, the brothers went into earlier about how the brother read how your policies. Matter of fact, hold that and get Isaiah 10:1.
This is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and their right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people.
Right. So what you do is you write these wicked laws, these policies, and these unrighteous decrees to make the children of Israel go off. So they can't keep the laws the way they should, according to what the scriptures say, because you write a bunch of madness. And you encourage them to commit the sins that our people commit. You advertise nothing but bacon on TV. You advertise homosexuality like you're wrong if you think that that's wrong.
Exactly.
It's like it's something wrong with you. But no, it's something wrong with him.
Right, bro.
Because he's a homo by nature. He's he's not heterosexual. He is homosexual. So that's why he would push that. If he wouldn't, why would he push that? That's against what the Most High say. That's against procreation. You can't have you need an input and an output. You can't have two outputs. You can't have two of the same to procreate. Because you think that you're the Most High, you can decide how many people sits and lives on the earth.
Right now, there's a big push for the science for it right now. Because science is trying to prove that there is the power of the Most High. Everybody wants to prove that science is now discovering the power of God. So if you can explain the Most High through science, he's not that special. You see, that's what they're trying to do. So they're going to make him stop believing in omnipotent power and start believing in science. Trust the, let me tell you what the math, trust the science. Let me tell you what the jab, trust the science. Right? You know, the science don't have information. But you can't swallow it up and come out of it. When you ask the question why to every question, you keep asking why. Ultimately, that'll hit you at the final question, the final answer, which is how. That's right. That's it. It ends up being the how. The hell is father, because he was getting, outside, but he was always there, ever existed. That created us for his entertainment.
And another thing, science can't prove certain things. Science can't prove conception. Science don't like it can guess, it can give you a theory, but it can't prove why a miscarriage happened. The bottom line is the Most High terminated that pregnancy. It ain't no other reason why. But instead of giving the Most High his credit that that's what he wanted was according to his will, you come up with some she was too stressed, or she put too much strain on her body. That's what you do. You make up whatever excuse so people can put their mind towards science or some other explanation of why this happened instead of saying, giving the Most High the credit that it was that what he wanted.
And it's like, before you reach that, and science is a power. To know, it means to know, right? So the knowledge is power. That's why the Most High gives us the power of the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures. But Esau tries to have a pseudo version of it with his science. So it looks like he's the powerful because he knows the most. Well, we know the most because we have it all broken down.
It's Isaiah 10:2. To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
So the father was usually the head of the was not usually, but he was the head of the household. And when you take him out of the equation, the connection to the Most High, it takes out the foundation. It says that, right?
The scripture say women rooted our foundation. Right. But she taking the place of the power of the man, being the head of these households. That's how it happens.
You know, a father establishes his children.
Versus the mother.
Yes, yep. Exactly right. So it's not meant, that's not her role to run the family. Why do you think we have that and we're in such a destructive place in society? Because he knew Even back in the Willie Lynch clips, he knew that if he let the women run the household, we'd be up. Because she's on the hit platforms, and she's on the hip, you know, and she's a spoiled for the hip, she's gonna follow back to him. And also, and not the man, especially not the man of the Most High.
And also, he knew that that's going to happen in the Israelite household. He the one that makes the laws. He makes the power, so he don't worry about that happening in his community for his people. He just wants that to tear down the Negroes, the Latinos, the Native Americans. He wants that to affect you because, like I said, he makes the laws so he can abide by what he want to abide by, and he don't have to abide by the laws that he make you abide by.
This is Psalm 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which bring mischief by thy law?
He framed mischief by the laws that he writes. He write a law, like for instance, he didn't like how the Black Panthers was using the law in the state of California to arm themselves and go into government buildings with high-powered weapons. So what did he do to stop that? He made a law in place that you couldn't do that anymore. If anything he don't like, he write a law for it, and he'll just change it. He'll just change it. He'll change it which his forefathers wrote. They wrote these laws, and then he overrided those laws and write laws that he feel that best fits him in these times.
But look, didn't they just walk into the Capitol in Detroit last year, trying to tell them to start the economy back up? It was just all inside this like it was not the Washington Capitol in Michigan. The State House in Michigan, they was all in there like, nah, you better shut us all the way down. You have to start this back up. They didn't want to stay under lockdown long, so that they put the economy all in gas.
And that's what the Second Amendment is for.
But none of them got in the Constitution when they changed the laws to stop those black
Yeah.
Yeah. Psalms 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which bring mischief by a law? They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood.
So you doing this to go against the souls of the righteous. Who are the souls of the righteous? The Hebrew Israelites. Primarily at this time, we're talking about the elect. So that's what you do. You set it up because why do you do this? You want to entrap God's chosen people because you know who they really are, but you don't let them know who they really are. You try to silence that. You want to muzzle that. But when it comes to you, if we're out here saying that you're God's chosen people, then you broadcast it. Right.
Going to continue. It says, "For the Lord Yahweh is my defense, and my power is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord our power shall cut them off."
Yep. Doesn't that line right up what the brother read in Psalms? It's like Job 14 and Job 21. You ain't gonna pass the time when the Most High has set for you to end. Go ahead, get what you got, bro.
This is Ecclesiastes of Sirach 10. I'm starting at verse 7. Pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. Verse 8. Because
the so-called white man, you bleed pride. Pride just comes off, it oozes off. But to everything that you put forth, there's pride involved in it. Especially you being who you are. You being the toughest man, you being the smartest man, you being the best cook, the best. Everything has to be a so-called white person to be the best at what it is. And you don't understand that a lot of you that so-called look like a white, you're an Israelite. There's a lot of them, you can tell the spirit that that's an Israelite man, even though he's carrying on your skin complexion. His spirit goes back to the children of Israel.
All right, Sirach 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit.
Unrighteous dealings, how you deal unrighteously with the North American Indians, how you deal unrighteously with the so-called Negroes. You deal unrighteously with them, putting them to death, great bribe, and taking their land, and then putting them enslaving them and you further the affliction. You very heavily laid your yoke on the children of Israel.
Right.
Go ahead.
The kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Right. So that kingdom is about to be translated from you, and it's going to go into a righteous kingdom. We're going to go from left hand wicked side kingdom into right hand righteous side kingdom, which is be ruled by Yahweh Shai. Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, and the righteous starting with King David, on down to the rest of the elect, and down to the whole nation of Israel who dwell in righteousness. We're going to righteously whoop your ass every time you do anything. You would bet on that, bank on that. Ain't that what the so-called white man says? Bank on that, or bet on that. Where you looking at your future masters and kings and rulers. We're gonna rule you in righteous ways that you had no idea that even existed. Why? Because you cover what the scriptures say. You conceal what the scriptures say, and then you bring out all wickedness, so people can learn from your mind. The scriptures say you lose sleep unless you do mischief. Mischief floats around your brain more than anything. You think about mischief more than you think about a woman. You got more on that? I'm sorry. Did you finish Amos? Go back to Amos.
Yeah, this is Amos chapter 9. I'm gonna reread verse 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations.
That's right.
Like as corn is sifted in the sea, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
The least grain ain't gonna fall upon the earth because the Most High gonna say the elect. The rest gonna be tortured, burned up. But the Most High's angels are looking at everything that you do. See, we can only see was put forth in our vision. All the wicked stuff that you do behind the scenes, all your think tanks, all your witches and warlocks, all your modern day soothsayers that prey upon the people, they put spells on masters of songs. That's why when people hear, they can't get it out of their head. They start singing it themselves because you don't put wicked spells on it, on the masters of it. So when you make copies of it, that goes out, but you don't even sell like that. You probably having them put on these radio stations because all they do, which is a witchcraft, is spin the same songs. The top 10 spin from noon to 4 to 9, same songs.
It literally is like the top 40. 40 songs on American radio probably was only like 2 hours. Maybe 3 before they start recycling like all the same songs in the same order.
Maybe the wickedest songs too. That's why they have the genre of pop. Pop, those are the most popular songs. They hit the billboards like the song of pop.
Yeah, it's considered rap, but now they don't even call it rap because it's a part of the song that Esau listened to it, even though it's so detrimental to Jacob. And Esau listened to it, now it's considered pop.
Now that they make hip-hop is making money. Now it's pop music. Because Edomites can buy it and love it. You got the demonic vibration. And then Jason is going to buy some of the shit so it's part of Black culture. Automatically not realizing the detriment of wickedness that's pushed through that. And that you've been caught up in that wicked vibration. Tell you to commit it on all the things against the Bible. All the things the Bible say that is we got you chasing money, robbing each other, taking drug use and drug abuse and drug dealing. And what's the other?
Lasciviousness.
That's doing adultery. All the things that the scripture tell you not to do, to conduct yourself as a child of the Most High, the devil has you pushing in your music as a mantra over and over, getting into your subconscious till it begins to act out in your daily life.
And you just got exposed by Crazy Bone, I believe, Bone Thugs. They brought out the fact that you were pushing this type of music, replacing so-called conscious rap with gangster rap and street rap and drug rap. So basically, all these music was being publicized to what? To influence the Hebrew Israelites to feel like that's what they want to do. They want to be like that. You have 50 Cent hit the scene, and all people want the. How many people was rocking the tank top and and the gear and everything. That whole nine was what, to get people to go act what they're seeing on videos, music videos, and rap lyrics and albums and stuff. So why? So they can, so you can get incarcerated, so they can build up the free slave labor, giving you these football number years. You getting 30, 40 years on first offenses and stuff like that. So they can what? So they can maintain, because a lot of these celebrities, people don't know that they invested in the prison systems. They invested in these prison systems, building these prison systems. Why? Because they got to get bodies in there, and that's what's going to keep the value up on their in the stock market, the stock on those prisons. It's all a record.
American thing too, because a lot of people say, listen, that's only in America. No, it isn't, because you got Jakes over there in London. They should be in a whole nother vibration. Like, this is two different type of climates, America and London. But yet they still slumming and talking about they getting money, they getting screwed. And then in the trap house, the same way. This is global. When you got, even though they look like Moabites, you got Jakes that look like Moab doing the same thing we doing over here in America. Why? Because that's that popular music. That demons will go out that time clothes, man. That's that darkness engulfing the earth, man.
And that's it's like Jake gravitates, whether they are Israelite or wherever they at, they gravitate to this because it's their only way out. There's no other way to get out of power. And this devil left you no other way out, but through his wicked system. So you got to be wicked for the entertainment world, with the music world. But the only way out is what we've been talking about, right? We talk about 1 Corinthians 10, 13. The way out, though, is through Yahweh Shemel. That's right. The thing that we're doing here is really the only way out to get out of this, because all them niggas that pump all that music, follow that vibration, they're gonna get destroyed right here in America as a 2/3. Versus those that's on the vibration of this new song of Yahweh Shemel. That's right. Your path, the ancient ways, get your mind and your vibration back to that. You're the ones that have the opportunity for salvation. Yeah, that's right.
And then a lot of these rappers, they do a lot of their touring over in London and other countries. That's how they make their real good money when they go over there. How often before COVID, how often would you see concerts and stuff like that? Like somebody on tour, like the Up and Smoke tour and shit like that. They over there because they getting paid big time money over there to do the same thing that's going on over here, because the seed has been planted here. They don't have to see. Jake ain't got to see a rap video and rap song to be a nigga out in these streets. He a nigga already. He was born into it. You got a little bitty 4 or 5 year old nigga talking about, I got my what do you say? I got my dick stick hanging out. He had a gun in his damn diaper and shit. Yeah. Got his little bottle talking about, I'm daddy, I'm grown. This is what I'm, and then with a bottle.
With a bottle, same thing. But the point is, there was a grown up holding the camera.
That was laughing, bro.
Thinking that she was all right. Yep. That's what a real tragedy happens. The person behind the camera laughing at it, thinking it's entertainment. Not directing that kid.
And then the little girl's like, go ahead, bro.
Oh no, I just had to see the evildoers.
Yeah, and then you got the little girls learning to twerk. They twerking all day. You got a grown 19, 20, I don't know how old she was, with 4 or 5 little dudes behind her in the bathroom twerking in the tub. This is the influence of our people. It's already set.
They put on these little media sites, TikTok, and they make a hell of money. You know, now all these kids got these little weirdo challenges, setting hair on fire, breaking out the toilet, This is Isaiah chapter 16, verse 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come. Right. The glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. If I may say, you know, that light is shining. The fact that the seals have been opened, we can understand His book and His wisdom to see through the darkness of the world. Because as read verse 2 as well. Verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. And the Lord shall arise upon thee, and gross darkness the people. The darkness shall cover the earth. That's how everybody's agreeing. Everybody's agreeing with the wicked ways of the world right now. The darkness covered all the people. So we have the light. So the light is coming to the world. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Look at his glory will be seen upon those that figure out about you know, shut it out here. And put that vibration up and they're living that in the spirit. So Yahweh shed that light onto the world. We're the ones calling out the bullshit and how y'all don't see how dark it is over here? Y'all don't see that we got the light over here? But this is the righteous way, this is the wisdom of how you live and prosper in the earth. They're like, hell no, nigga, I'm about to go make this place, smoke this weed, fuck these bitches. Man, I got time for that shit. That's the mindset. They don't know that there's a day coming that's gonna burn them as an apple.
That's right,
They don't
man.
know that there's a judgment for that wicked deed. They had no time to get warned about it, and they didn't get it right in that amount of time, they're gonna get destroyed. But us being the light, we can navigate through all the bullshit, and Lord willing get saved out of it. Right. Yeah, if not, you got that.
Okay, yes. Because now we're gonna jump back off Jake, because Jake get influenced by the so-called white man. We're gonna keep this rolling on your ass. Go ahead and bring that out, bro.
This is Proverbs 12 and 26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor.
The excellency comes from the scriptures. And that's being told the people, if we would just follow what the scriptures say, this is the excellency. This is how you get right in your mind according to the Most High. But you don't do that.
But the way of the wicked seduceth them.
The way of the wicked seduces you. Everything that Esau puts in front of you, that's more. Whatever the things that Esau puts in front of you is more delicious for you. It's more what you want to do according to what you feel in your flesh. That's how you want to live. Instead of living in the right way according to what the Most High say. So we're gonna get into more of the destruction.
And he does that deliberately. That's why any type of organization that's devil in front of your face is negative organization. The Crips in the blood. They said when they first started, you know, it was supposed to be like an activist group. But guess what? Esau got into the midst of that, man. He started influencing certain jakes to push out certain vibrations, negative vibrations, same thing, like you said, with the music, pushing out gangster rap, drug use. All that is created by white men, because when they like cocaine, when it boom, crack, heroin, when these different drugs started to hit the United States markets, they needed advertisements like all things. And they go on TV and say, crack cocaine, you know, buy it from the local Negro, you know. No, they gonna choose these different pushers, man. These rappers to be people push that type of vibration.
The ones that made it popular, that needed it, was those they squeezed it from the 70s, and they brought it to where there was only a couple government programs. They had taken on government programs in the early 70s. It was okay. The war came, they cut that shit for the war. About Vietnam, to the 80s, they had the West, but they had already had the foot in South America. Get that cocaine. Right. They brought that in, had it off the Jake to cover the no different than just now with Afghanistan. Terror when they went in Afghanistan and Pakistan and Iraq, getting in their poppy fields. So they went from the crack pipe to the field, you know, with the opium fields. But they used the same tactic. And back then, the Jakes would get squeezed when in poverty. Who they gonna have to? So they got a fingerprint on somebody doing the crime, so they never have to do it, but they make the benefits of it. Yep.
I'm just thinking about Esau. He's like, hey, these niggas gonna figure it all out. That's what it says now. Esau searched that. Revelation 18 and 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works.
That's right. For the deep treachery, deceptiveness this man that came up with, the Most High's got double that for you.
That's right.
You
get double what the Israelites went through. Yeah, that's where the double's coming from. What you took us is the length of time you had us enslaved, and then the double punishments that you had us, that you were doing unto us, will be done unto you double.
And the cup, and the cup which she had filled to her double.
That's right. She gets the dirtiest, nastiest dregs.
now the bitter part, the flour that fell back in the cup, well up at the bottom.
And the beauty of it is that each and every person out of 144,000 get to fill that cup, man. Just like kids that do the training, mix it and you gotta drink it. But they did the same thing, even the slavery. Esau, see how bad of a cup they tried to make it have a shot drink. Yeah. You know, all things that they did that for sport, man. So we're gonna do the same thing up here for sport. And sometimes certain jakes they get squeamish, you know, they can't imagine that. The Lord won't put that type of spirit on you to be like that. That's what you're gonna be all right. You gotta understand. That was amazing.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 75, verse 8. It reads, "For in the hand of the Lord Yahweh Shah there is a cup, and the wine is red."
Right. So when you get in the kingdom, you're gonna get that cup of slavery the brother was just talking about, headed unto you. Like we gonna toast to that. And you're gonna be the one drinking. We're not gonna drink. We're just gonna toast and you're gonna drink.
It is full of mixture, and he poured out of the same, but the dregs thereof. All the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them.
Yeah, the dregs. I'm gonna say that the dregs represent the most bitter part. If somebody hands you a glass of beer, if you go to bars, they rinse it out because people don't drink that bitter dregs part. Well, that bitter part, that dregs represent the most harshest part of your slavery. So you're gonna drink that down. And the beautiful part about it is you're not gonna know that you're serving 1,000 years. Because the last day you serve slavery is gonna be as hard as the first. And so you're gonna you got a whole another 100,000 years to go, because we're gonna put it on you, and every day it's gonna be the same. It ain't gonna be it ain't gonna be to get out of it. That's what it means. You drinking the dregs. The dregs, man, it's gonna be hard from day one to day done. You're gonna be feeling that.
This is the book of Obadiah, 5th verse. It says, "If thieves came to thee and robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?"
You won't, Esau. You ripe the vine clean. You take it off. You don't have enough. Well, you know what? You're not gonna get enough of slavery then.
Right.
That's that. You keep that same energy. Keep that same attitude. Go ahead.
Verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?
Well, it's been set up. The Most High set up his men, been blowing the whistle on you, and you got your own people, your own kind blowing the whistle on you. So everything's been brought out on you. The Most High is lifting up that skirt. Right?
God, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee.
And your confederates, all these other nations you're in league with, all these other nations that they sell and buy goods with you, they import and export with you, they down with your foreign policies and things like that. They laid a wound on you, man. They gonna turn on you. Yep. They're not gonna side with you when this thing go down because they got missiles that need to be shot your way. Yep.
And prevail against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee.
That's the wound. They've been breaking bread. I mean, they've been having deals with you. Yeah. They've been in league with you. But like I said, they got missiles for you.
Yeah, they're right. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom?
Destroy the wise men out of Edom. I mean, you're not going to see this one coming. You're not going to know what's happening. Your missile defense system won't be able to shoot down 200 million missiles being shot at you. Yeah, they might shoot a couple down, but the rest of them going to land on the mark that they were shot to hit. Meaning they're not going to malfunction. Tell you in Joel, they're not going to malfunction. Yeah, they're not going to break rank. Yeah. They're not going to run into each other. They're not going to do any of those things. They got a destination that they will meet that destination, which is the soil of America.
Right. God. And understanding out of the mount of Esau. It says, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Yeah, so all your German scientists and all these other countries that you done brought them over to help with your technology and all that stuff. It's not gonna help you. They're gonna die right along with you. Right?
John verse 10.
And they Edomites anyway.
John verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall come to thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Right. The Most High gonna say, like Jake always say, you're gonna catch these hands. Well, the Most High got that for you. You're gonna catch those hands. The hands represent the indignation, the righteous anger that the Most High has for you because he hates you. He's gonna explain. He's gonna give you a serious explanation when you're going down. The explanation is you ain't gonna be able to explain why you getting these missiles shot on you, why you going down. Well, you can't say that because the explanation been coming out of great millstone, starting with the apostles and elders for years. Going down to the other brothers, you can't say you hadn't been warned.
That's right.
You just didn't pay attention. But you couldn't do nothing about it anyway. You did pay attention.
I'm gonna jump down to verse 15. It says, "For the day of the Lord Yahweh is near upon all the heathen."
Okay, hold on. All the heathen now. Matter of fact, go back. You get Zephaniah 1 and 15. If I'm not mistaken. It's not Zephaniah. Exactly right. You other nations, you don't get away because you made a tumult, meaning you agreed to join league with the so-called white man and to keep us as not being a nation and to oppress us. You're not getting away from it. You're Most High is gonna be serving up a plate of judgment, and you got a seat at that table.
That's right. Zechariah. This is Zechariah 1 and 15. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
You help forward the affliction. You bring hell on Jake in our own neighborhood. Why? Because you own the corner store. You own the beauty supply store. You own the dollar Chinese. All the stores that have been in Jake neighborhood, you own them. You treat them like shit when they shopping there and buying your stuff. All the rotten bullshit that you sell our people. That's you. And then you treat our people like we ain't shit. That's what you do. So and besides that, we've been enslaved to under all you nations. So it ain't gonna pass away from you. You got a cup to drink too.
That's right. Also, like you just speaking about those convenience stores, you get all that, ain't nothing in the convenience stores but garbage. Yeah, they don't really have no fruits and things of that nature. Right.
They got pork skins.
Pickle pig, you eat all that shit, it's right out your mouth. You try to go to the dentist, you gotta have some type of benefits. You have to have pre-existing benefits depending on the severity that your mouth might all that crap. And the government ain't trying to, what is that? You gotta have credit. You gotta have this. You gotta have that. He knows how to get us. He was there.
Verse 16.
Wait. It's like I want to bring on another point. You other nations and you Edomites, y'all got delis in y'all neighborhood. Y'all got
farmer market,
foods and sprouts and all these. You get the good produce. You got farmers market. When you see the farmers market in the hood, they don't get to the hood because they put liquor stores and corner markets and all the stuff that you put in our neighborhood to destroy our people's immune system, to break down our bodies, filled with toxins and all this mess. This is what you did. I'm talking about you other nations too, because you run these spots. And you know that you feed these people this stuff that you wouldn't have for yourself.
Verse 16. But as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance.
Deliverance will come out of Mount Zion. That's talking about Israel. Israel is the Most High's monument, and we talking about the elect. That's right. Salvation will come to the elect. Right. The rest of the nation of Israel, the 2/3, you catch it on the second back end. The first end, this coming to the elect.
God. And there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them.
Hold that, bro. Get Ezekiel 25 and 12. Yep. You're gonna get found on that. Read that. Go back up and read that part again.
Tom.
Go back up, verse 2.
Tom, I'm starting at 17. The book of Obadiah, verse 17 says, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame.
Let's talk about Jeremiah 5 and 14. Because it's starting now. You're getting torched and burned right now, spiritually. It ain't physically yet, it's coming spiritually. It's coming out of us being out here on the highways and byways, and the Most High has made our mouths like fire, burning on you. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 5 and verse 14. Wherefore, thus saith the Lord power of hosts, because he speaks this word.
Because he speak this word,
behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire.
He will make his words in our mouth fire. Meaning, what we're pushing out, whether you see it or not, these are spiritual flames that are coming out. And all the brothers all across the four corners of the earth that's teaching and preaching and bringing this truth out, there's fire within them. The Most High has a fire burning within them. If they go out and speak, and that fire comes up out of them. And the you people is who's being burned. It's gonna tell you. Go ahead.
And this people would, and it shall devour them.
Wood, you're wood. You're as wood. And you're gonna be devoured. Why? These words devour you. These words is like fire. It's like a two-edged sword that cuts both ways. It's more ways. That's what it's known as a sword. We know it as a sword because it's a killing instrument. Because it can kill you spiritually. It can spiritually break you down in your mind. If you ain't Most High ain't dealing with you, this book will bug you. Yeah. And if it ain't bugging you, it's because the Most High is just allowing the lies for you to think what you think you know about the scriptures, what you're being taught in these harlot houses, these churches, which is not the truth.
That's right.
So either way it go, you're blind. You're blind because he don't want you to get it. Jump back to
Obadiah.
Yeah.
Time. Obadiah, verse 18. It says, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau.
Any remain of the house of Israel. Now hold that.
Esau. This is Ezekiel 25 and 12. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shai, because the Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shai, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of the Dan shall fall by the sword. Ezekiel 25 and 13. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shai, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom.
How do you think he's gonna stretch out his hand? Or why do you think he's stretching out his hand? We went into that. We went into that in Amos 9 and 8. He's been having his angels watching your ass from day one. You got a very, very bad report card. Yeah. Everything that Esau touches, everything he touches is destruction that comes behind that touch. You know, like they have Medusa, right? Yeah. Medusa, anything she touched, it turns to stone, right? That's the myth, right? The story of it. Mm-hmm. Anything she touches, and she have all these snakes on top of her as her hair, that's you. That's Esau. Go ahead.
And will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of the Dan shall fall by the sword, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel.
See how they go with this brother just read Obadiah? This is a future prophecy. Obadiah is explaining to you how it's going to go down. You're going to read that part again, then you just brother can read that, and then we're going to go.
Obadiah, verse 18, it says, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it.
That's right. So, like the Israel going to take you down and get you in the kingdom for 1,000 years, and then Israel's going to round you up, start with our big brother Yahushua, and the rest of the elect is going to round you up, and we're going to have the biggest bonfire in history of life.
Yeah, Bobby adds that's a prophecy in Isaiah the 39th chapter. Scripture speak about he shall sever out men to continue. All right, they shall bury the dead bodies for 7 years.
Because that's how much dead bodies is going to be out here. To the point where we're going to have to get these heathens, round these heathens up, have these heathens disposing of these bodies. Because when we come from New Jerusalem comes back down off those chariots, it's game time.
Yes, sir.
All right, okay? It's time to put this plan in motion. You know, setting up strict policies of righteousness on the face of the earth. And that's written of in Ezekiel the 38th and the 39th chapter. You know, so that's where the planet Earth, the direction the planet Earth is headed to, man. You know, you got
It's like, I was just going to New Jerusalem. Who's that?
yeah, well, New Jerusalem, that's the elect. That's written of in what's that? Revelation the 21st chapter, where it says, "Behold, I saw the New Jerusalem come out of heaven, right, descending." Because what? Let's get First Thessalonians 4:16. You know, hey, because it's gonna be the same thing as Yahushua. Remember, the elect is gonna be what? Joint heirs. So Yahushua got lifted up by a chariot. He's gonna come back as a chariot. The elect gonna get lifted up by the chariots. They're gonna come back like the chariots.
That's right. Bro, we got it lined up for you.
Oh yeah.
Counter, you want that first?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit that real quick. Y'all got it, bro.
First Thessalonians 4 and verse 16. It says, "For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel."
Right, and you can link this with Acts, the first chapter.
That's right.
Where it said, "Watch then ye there gazing, the same way you see the Son of Man being taken up, shall he come back." So it's talking about the clouds, which is also another reference for the chariots. Okay, go ahead, bro.
God. "And with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first."
Yeah, that trumpet. The whole world is gonna hear that seventh trumpet, and it's gonna be loud. It's gonna be loud. Okay, that's the final horn. At that horn, man, that's it. You know, that's the beginning of the establishment of New Jerusalem. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Verse 17, "Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air."
That's right. So that's going to be that phase of salvation, when we get delivered out of this hellhole and we get replenished with new bodies.
Right.
All right. Then and also those crowns. Pursuing the Revelation, second Ezra, the second chapter, where it said, "I saw the Son of Man, a man that was taller than him, standing in the midst," and it said they had palms in their hands, and he put crowns on each and every last one of their heads. Okay, that's going to be that reward ceremony.
And it says also, those men that receive those crowns are the men that stood so stiffly in the name of Yahweh Hashem.
Yeah. And it also speaks about that, if I'm not mistaken, the white stone, that each and every, because that white stone, I think that Elder Yashua did a lesson on it. It goes back in like Roman times, it would represent mercy in Revelation. I'll get that precept now. Brother, got to go.
Yeah, finish that up.
God, I'm going to continue in verse 16. It says, "With the voice of the archangel and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first." Shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the cloud to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord.
Yeah, meaning we're going to be with the Lord forever. But I'm bringing it full circle and going back to the point of severing out continuing employment, because when we get delivered and received up into the heavens, they also is prophesied that they're going to come back the same way, descending with great power, all right, and authority, all right, with a rod of iron to break the nations in pieces. That's the direction of the world, man. Whether you people out here want to receive it or not, that's the path we walk into, man. Okay, everything is getting ready to fully submit to the ordinance and the power of Yahweh Bashem Shai.
That's right.
He got strict enforcers that he's setting up right now as we speak. That's gonna fulfill those policies, man. That's gonna push them policies and gonna enforce it hardcore. All right. So you heathens get ready to go into hardcore slavery.
That's right.
You're gonna have to clean up the earth that you messed up. Right. Okay. Y'all got it.
Yeah, we basically, what the bishop is going into, he's gonna give you the scriptural accounts to back him up.
This I
Real quick, like back up the brother what he's saying about jobs, and there's gonna be plenty of stuff for the heathen. Revelation 21 and 25. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there, and they shall bring the glory and the honor of the nations into it. So the gates are always going to be open to receive the goods of the other nations. They're going to be bringing their products, their children,
You know, their goods and everything.
That's the best. We gonna have Moabite cave miners hanging off ropes and shit all the way in the depths of the earth, bringing amethysts. You know, bringing diamonds and all kind of different exotic animals. You know, hey, that's Isaiah the 60 or 61, where it says we shall take the portions of the Gentiles. Yeah, it also says we shall suck the breast of any according to them. We're gonna get their resources, man. So we got a lot of good things to look forward to.
That's right.
You know?
That's it.
You're gonna give us the top notch of everything you got.
Yep.
Anything you produce, anything that you make, anything that you breed is coming to us first. And if you don't, that's right. And if you don't, the Most High is gonna make sure that you don't get no rain, that you don't get. The Most High is gonna stop your produce and anything that you got coming. He's not gonna bless it for it to grow because he's only blessing you to give the best to us. Go ahead, bro.
This is Isaiah 26:20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut the doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed.
Right, that's the elect being beamed up into the chariots, what you know as a UFO and we know as an IFO. We're going to be beamed up in there, Lord willing. We the men of the Lord, the elect that's called and chosen. That's what the brother was reading. We're going to go up into those chariots, and people are going to be getting destroyed down there. The missiles are going to be hitting.
Hey, real quick, can you read that last part real quick?
This is inside of Isaiah 26:20. It says, hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed.
Right, which is the thermonuclear missiles. All right, which is destruction. Go ahead. It said for a little moment. Go ahead.
Great. This is Isaiah 26:21. For behold, the Lord Yahweh Shai cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain.
That's right. So I want to read Revelation 15, and it goes into how we're gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, you ready?
No, you know.
You got on that. Okay.
It's like it, bro. Go ahead and read it.
Okay, yeah. Revelation 15 and 2. It says, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. Okay, now that sea of glass is represents the chariots. Hey, the men of the Lord, the prophets who make it, who don't get destroyed by that second death. All right, they're going to be in the chariots, and the fire is going to consume over them, and we're going to be protected. All right, and actually, I had a dream of that. That I was inside of a chariot, and it looked like a sea of glass, it looked like webs, and destruction was happening. And I was in the midst of it. So this destruction was happening.
The sea of glass represents you being able to see through the bottom of the chariot, like the transparency, seeing through it, like there's no floor there.
Yeah, right. So that's what was in my dream. It looked like still how spider webs look. It was like spider webs. You see a perfect spider web. It's really it's a built creation. Yeah, it's a built creation. But when you really analyze it, it looks like a cover. And when I had that dream, I was like in that little covering of a sea of glass. And I saw it as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten a victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark.
That's the elect being beamed up, being covered by everybody else being destroyed by those missiles. They'll be held safely. And their bodies have been changed to get into that, and then they're gonna come down like the brother was talking about in Revelation 21. That's the matter of fact, we'll get that right real quick. That's the first double verse. You still have more?
Yes, a little bit more. It says, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name.
Yeah, it say over his image and over the mark. So what is the image? The system. All right, the system that you see around you that they're trying to get you to bow to. They're trying to get you to submit to the authorities of America, the beast. All right, but remember this: the whole beast getting ready to get taken out, not just America. All right, the whole alliance. Okay, it's getting ready to get dropped, man. The beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns, that whole thing getting ready to get burnt, man.
Right.
Okay, it ain't gonna be no remnant left, man. No traces. Okay. Go ahead, bro.
And over his mark,
that mark. All right, now obviously that's not talking about joining the white man's army. All right, that's talking about the RFID microchip.
Right.
How are we gonna get the victory over that mark? By resisting it and being delivered. Okay.
Because ultimately, the so-called white man, he don't care about 2/3, man. He's trying to mark the planet Earth because he got to get the elect. He really want to get the elect chilling, man. That's right. Yeah. Everybody else is just a casualty of war. His real main focus point is we got to get the elect microchip. So therefore, they don't know who the elect is around the four corners of the earth. So they got to try to get everybody. That's right. Okay, Peter 78. Yep. Peter abomination.
Most considered that sounds exactly like. Get everybody.
Yeah, they merging man with machine, man. It says, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the hearts of the Most High. Hey, so that's it. So the elect will be protected, man. You know? Go ahead, bro.
Is 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 44. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of Yahweh.
Putting off the mortal clothing is coming out of the world and coming into the truth. Accepting who you are as your true nationality, who your true power is, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, and changing your ways and following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. And these men are the servants. That's 144,000. These are the ones who hit the highways and byways and brought this truth out. That's what that's talking about.
And declared the name. It said the name. The name. So you ain't gonna be delivered. What's the Acts?
4 and 12.
No name under heaven. Wait for Savior. All right. So you have to uphold to that name. All right. Now you got all these other camps talking about Jesus Christ, Jesus blessed, Most High blessed Christ, which is bullshit, man. All right. What is his name? What is his son's name? Down to the top. All right. You got it.
And have confessed the name of Yahweh, now are they crowned and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowns them and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of Yahweh, whom they have confessed in the world.
And that's what we're doing. His name. We're confessing the Son of the Most High. All right, who is Yahushua. All right, and his name means he delivers. All right, and that's the man who's going to deliver us up out of Egypt once again.
That's the man that's
right. That's it. That's the man that's coming. You know? It's gonna be FedEx, it's gonna be fucking UPS. All right, it's gonna be Yahushua. First Corinthians told you. First Corinthians 10 said that Yahushua was that rock that led the children of Israel out of Egypt back then. That's that same rock, which is Yahushua, is gonna lead the elect this time out of this destruction, man.
That's right.
You got it.
Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord.
They keep on bringing up the name, man. That name is important.
It's important.
All right, that name holds power and energy, man. All right, niggas been calling on Jesus since we got slave ships, man. Jesus ain't been shit. That nigga retired. Jesus like, man, I ain't retirement plan. Jesus had a retirement plan, man. He did nothing, man. But when we call on the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, that's why this world is shifting the way it is. That's right, bro. Through the prophets, man. All right? The whole world vibration is changing.
All right, his name. This is Revelation 2 and verse 22.
And this is when they come. Actually, no, it's like hold that. This Revelation 21.
This is Revelation 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven.
Now that's the elect. There's been transformed to extraterrestrial beings. There's going to be the Lord of Hosts. Is going to be united with Yahushua. They're coming, New Jerusalem, coming off those chariots to what? To go throughout the four corners of the earth with our big brother Yahushua, snatching crowns off the prime ministers, presidents, and all the leaders of the world, and the elites, taking your power away, taking you down and putting you in subjection. That New Jerusalem represents new rulership, new power and righteousness.
Right? Prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
That's the bride. The bride is going to be the elect. The groom is Yahushua. They're coming down together and like a perfect marriage and holy matrimony, taking over for ruling in righteousness.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men.
Notice that I heard a great voice. So when they descend, it's going to be an introduction to the earth. But, hey, the Lord deals with that all throughout the scriptures. Yeah. Introduction. Hey, when Yahweh Shai came in, he got introduced. But he came in on what? On the soul of an ass. No, into the city. That was an introduction and a representation of him coming in lowly and humble and meek, being a servant. But then he's gonna get introduced at the destruction with what? With a horn. All right, and he's all his glory. Yeah, the tread of the wine press. But then notice it says that he's going to say what? Come up hither in the Hebrew tongue. So the whole world is going to hear that introduction. Then when New Jerusalem come back, they're going to get introduced to the planet Earth, and we're going to dominate this thing. Right. We're talking about aggressive domination. All right? Like Shaq versus goddamn Baby Shark.
The cheat code, goddamn.
You know what I'm saying? That's a cheat code. We got to get that.
Bro, we go back here, bro.
This Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins."
That's what the bishop just was going there. He would say, "Come up hither, come out of her, so you don't be partakers in the indignation," which is the same thing that Isaiah 26 and 20 said. Right?
And that ye receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities.
And the plagues is the missiles that's going to be plaguing every inch of America. It's going to be plagued by those missiles. Right?
Revelation 11 and verse 11. And after 3 days and in half, the spirit of life from the Most High enter into them.
Hey, what's that going into? Those 3 days and a half. Those days represent 100 years.
Yeah.
All right, that's 350 years. Going back to the book of Daniel, where it says, times and dividing the times shall she be nourished from the face of the serpent. Right. So that's going into the time of the slave trade up to the time that the Lord woke up the children of Israel. That was that falling away was a 350-year period. And even to go a little bit further, when you look up the concordance, the significance, or the Strong's Concordance 350, it means an excruciating period of examination. Okay, that's what the word goes into, or the number 350 goes into. Excruciating period of examination, and it says by torture. So so the Lord was going through there, and he was seeing who was worthy and who wasn't. And through that 350-year time period, he figured out who the elect was, and he raised them up at that 350-year period.
That's what that was part of the city.
Yep.
Basically picked out the elect, which was ordained from the beginning.
Yeah, because throughout that 350-year period, one thing that the elect was doing was trying to find the Most High. Yeah. Okay, look at that turn. You know, and those who follow him, and not only that, you got two sets of Israel, okay, which is the Haitian. But you had a bunch of different Jakes out here that was still trying to find the Lord, whatsoever they were throughout the planet Earth. But it wasn't time for their eyes to be woken up, man. But then, after that 350-year period, up until now, hey, soon as bros hear the word, it's like your mind gets stirred up. Oh yeah, that's it. That's what I've been looking for. But I think Hosea talks about breaking up the clocks. So when we heard the word, when we heard the truth, the clock was broken, meaning that old man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The Lord straightened all it up and started sowing the seed of righteousness. Yeah. And that's why we see what we have right now.
Yeah. And he said, "I set forth the apostles' lab."
That's right.
The apostles came and we see this thing happen. Everybody started waking up. Everybody started coming into the phone, and the truth started to flow.
Yeah. This Revelation 11 and 11. It says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them. They stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
Yeah, that's going. When it says stood upon their feet, that's a representation of power, or being alert, being awoke. All right, because you don't sleep on your feet. Okay, so when it says they stood on their feet, that's going into Ezekiel 37. Yeah, you know. Yeah, they stood the rest of life.
Also, you go into the stand boldly.
Yep. When you go into Genesis 3 and 16, it tells you how the serpent was going to lose our heel. All right, our heel was bruised in the time of our falling away.
Mhm.
It's a slavery, captivity. But now it said the spirit of life entered into us and we stood upon our feet. So that, yeah, in great fear fell. So that hill has been whole or
That's it.
renewed.
Mhm.
Okay, so you know when you get a heel injury, that shit hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll take a minute to heal up.
Mhm.
But when you get that foot, working back again, you be good.
Got your
And that's what
calibration
it
back
is
right
now.
there.
Hey, but if you bruise somebody's head, you can fuck them up for the rest of their
Oh,
life.
hell yeah.
Keep cucking that shit down.
Mhm.
And that's what we're doing right now. We're bruising the head of the wicked, man.
And that's why also he saw fear. He feared this thing. That's why he was trying to stop the text. Because he feared this. First, one thing is just the Negro. Now you see the Southern and the Northern people come together. That's what he feared. He feared the whole nation, the elected nation of Israel coming together, because that is the quality of your downfall.
But that's
That
why
equals you going down.
that's why he did this. That's why he switched
Oh,
the
yeah.
names.
Yeah,
Exactly. Psalm 83. So the name of Israel may not be no more remembrance. But real quick, this is Habakkuk 3:13. Thou wentest forth for the salvation of thy people, even the salvation with thine anointed. Thou woundest the head out of the house of the wicked by discovering the foundation unto the next Salah. And that's what we're doing right now. All right? We're wounding the foundation of the wicked, man, by bringing down the strongholds. The spirit of God, and this nigga don't know how the fuck it happened. He don't know how it happened. When you go into the 80s and the 70s and all the drugs and cut in the 80s and the AIDS, and hey, it said that it was over 100 and something million African Americans with fucking AIDS as fucking infants, man. They tried to knock our nation out. And now they're like, how the fuck did they understand? How did they get this knowledge, man? That's why I said we fools become as like madness, man. How is he numbered amongst the saints? That's what's Psalm 5:1. Because they didn't think that we was gonna wake up. But through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, we're here. That's how we know this is the end.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
That's a miracle.
You got it, bro.
God, this is Revelation 11 and 12. It says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies.
We don't need to break this down because we don't put out so many scriptures that broke it down, and it was showing you this is just another account of it.
And their enemies beheld them. In the same hour was there a great earthquake.
Yeah, behold means to look upon. It says, look up for your redemption draweth nigh. That's the chariots.
So this prophecy is our enemies from Esau and other nation. They're gonna be looking at the elect being
beamed up.
Yep, and we gonna and the beautiful thing about it, like I always go into, is if they're gonna watch us get rewarded, and we're gonna watch them get rewarded. Everybody gonna get looked at.
Everybody gonna get there.
We're gonna be looking down like, yo, niggas get fucked up down there.
Mocking them.
Damn. Yeah, we're gonna be like, hey, hey, bro, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. And also,
I already told you.
Pastor Hart said that through the spirit, it might be one big chariot that delivered. So it's gonna be like a coliseum, so to speak, and we're gonna all see it within the, and we're gonna see the destruction.
What backs that up is water second.
We're gonna read this last word. John, this is basically what's gonna be happening once they come up with the chariot. This account is gonna take place for 1,000 years and beyond.
John, this Revelation 2 and 25 says, but that which ye have already proved till I come, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works until the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Woo! And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received.
Have you ever had a clay, like when you was a kid, third grade or some shit, you had to make a clay, the pottery clay, broke it, and just shot it. We get a break for nations to shiver, meaning limbs, heads, arms, fingers, toenails, everything's gonna be busted up, man.
Yeah, imagine a big Jake with a new body and a big ass rod of iron walking each direction. One swing, holding it like this.
club.
Taking a pool and get a nice good penny.
Right.
You're ready to lay into these guys.
That's some dregs that we brought out earlier.
Oh yeah.
Some dregs that you have to drink up, man.
Gotta eat it, man.
Gotta feel that pain.
I'm swinging like Barry Bonds.
Oh yeah.
Hang here.
Yeah.
It says, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I receive of my Father.
Yeah, so this is coming out the Holy Bible, the book that y'all call a good book.
Yeah.
Hey, well, this good. This is a good book, but it's also a bad book. It's bad. This ain't nothing good written for you heathens.
Right.
Okay. The Lord talked about breaking you in pieces like a vessel, and that's gonna happen. Everything that's written of in these scriptures is going to be fulfilled. And we're in a time of biblical prophecy being fulfilled.
Right.
Okay. So Lord willing, hey, we're gonna go ahead and close out, giving all praise, glory, and honor to.
Yeah.
All right, double honors once again to the apostle, the elders, great millstone. Peace and safety to the elect. Till the next time, we say shalom.
Shalom.